during that.
Great. All right, so now let's just test this out. I got my camera B. Is it on him? Is it looking good?
Oh, there I can even see myself.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
And then I got camera A, and we're golden. So welcome, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome. Yes.
How have you been?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling good. This is an energizing show, and especially when we get into this exhibition time of it, it's just the energy, the interest of the questions. It reminds you that safety really is an interesting topic to these folks, and it's important to them. And it's maybe everybody doesn't always understand, but we love it. But this is good things. It's good for us. It's good for the world, right? And it's exciting. So
it's absolutely phenomenal, and the number of people that are here, and the energy that's over there. You can just listen to all of our experts, right? These guys and gals come from our plants, our engineering communities, and all that, and they're focused on providing knowledge to all of those individuals who come in this booth.
Yeah, and to that point, how important it is to us. We get bigger every year at this. Yep. Your broadcast gets bigger and better, I think, every year.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But we've got 15 people here, right?
Yeah.
That's a showing.
It's a showing.
That means
and
something.
You need that many because it's like a flood of industry experts who are all focused on electrical safety, all wanting to sit down and talk about the great things that we've got going on.
Indeed. And it's been even turn the tables on you a little bit, but so far, what do you think's been some of the highlights that we've seen? We got more to go still, right?
Well, I think the first paper given was the best.
I think we might know who authored that paper and presented yet again at the Electrical Safety Workshop.
But so honestly, I think the stuff that I like the most is what happens out at the coffee pot, downstairs and around the bar area when you go down for lunch and things like that. The dialogue that happens and the people that you get to meet and talk to.
Yes.
And the connections, because the key thing is it's global. That little red button on the bottom left. There's a little red button there. No, make sure we hit record. The recording, this one too, actually, if you can hit this one. Same spot. It's on this side. It's on this side. Yeah, I want to hit so we're recording, and we're going to capture all of this, and you're going to see individuals from various companies coming in and various experts. So it's going to be a very important and fruitful discussion.
Yep.
But so I think the stuff that happens around the coffee pot. I mean, the papers are great, and you can download the papers. You can download the presentation materials, which is awesome.
Yep.
But to listen to a speaker, and I know a lot of people like to go up to the microphone and ask questions and whatnot, but it's better to capture them and we had hospitality rooms last night.
Yep.
We have break times, and it's just a great time to meet people from all over the country, all over the globe. We have Finland here, we've got Colombia, we've got Guatemala, we've got all these different countries represented from engineers. And I mean, I'd have to travel to Finland to see those individuals, right? And we're talking about creating an electrical safety workshop in all of those areas.
All those countries, right? Because not everybody's at par. The codes and standards can change a little bit, but the underlying theme of safety doesn't, right? It's still protecting people and the property and equipment, right? That still is there.
Why don't you tell everybody who you are?
Oh, well.
Yeah, we didn't do introductions.
I guess we didn't, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm Mark Elliott. I've been with Eaton for 30 years now, Tom. I think Tom was one of my early mentees of teaching me lots of cool stuff about power management and other cool stuff.
What year did you start?
91.
91? I was 96. And I'll be 30 years next year, so you beat me, brother.
I didn't do 91. I want to make myself sound important. So I actually probably started at the same time, because it was January of 96 was my first day.
That's exactly the same. My first day was January 96.
Wow, that's so cool.
And I was sick my first day. I came in anyway. I went home at lunch, though.
Love it.
So what do you do?
Well, I've had lots of cool jobs. That's what's great about a company like Eaton, is I have lots of cool jobs just like you have well, to learn different facets and different aspects of the business, which, in the big picture makes us better suppliers to our customers if you've lived in their shoes and you've been selling to them and you market to them and you kind of. So I'm currently the marketing director for mining, metals, and minerals globally and pulp and paper. So it's the strategy around getting feedback from that customer base of what's important to them electrically, and translating that back to our own product lines and to our collateral we share with them, whether that's to our salespeople or to them. And so things like this is totally in line with that.
Absolutely.
Right in line. And then I spare a fair amount of time within that codes and standards piece, just enough to help them, hand off to smart people like you to really hammer it home of what makes it work.
We have an awesome team at Eaton on codes and standards. We've got individuals who sit on panels 1, 2, 4, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 14 as well. We're going to have 17 and 18 pretty soon. So we're heavily involved with the National Electrical Code and international standards globally. We were represented in, I forget how many different countries, maybe about 12 different countries.
Sure.
Right? So we have a lot of people at the table, a lot of people involved with codes and standards. So when you speak to me, you're speaking to all those individuals. So I know I look good sometimes, but it's because of all that.
The power of the team behind you, right?
I show my age when I say it's the power of the Rolodex. And I get some of the young people look at me and they go, "What's a Rolodex?"
Yes.
So, but
that's very true.
Yeah, so we have a bigger booth this year, I think, right?
It gets bigger every year, and it's because not only do we have more solutions to offer all the time, but the amount of traffic and people and the feedback we get of other things they wish they would see or whatever it might be, and it's the reward is there, period, because it brings more of our own people there for the education purposes and the networking.
Right.
And likewise, just the bigger the booth, the more people we get through, the more opportunities we have to go, share our goods.
Share our goods. And the other thing I like about this show, I've been to shows and I've seen vendors who have monitors everywhere, right? We've got equipment here.
We've got equipment.
We've got big gray boxes sitting all over. I heard that we had a trouble with one of our big gray boxes in delivery.
Well, and that's the thing. Big gray boxes don't normally get delivered to ballrooms.
That's true.
So those people that normally handle them, which is a safety concern, frankly, right? And the way we designed it is like, well, that's as safe as we can make it, but it's still big and heavy.
Oh, yeah.
And so it did a face plant, and we've got break-resistant glass. It's got some very nice cracks in it, but it didn't shatter. So
that's right.
Positive but not, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
And metal boxes don't always survive falls to the ground as cleanly as you want them to.
Not always.
But it still works.
Absolutely.
It's still looking good.
Right.
But at that point, I even just before the show, I recharged the breaker and charge, discharge, and it's working.
Perfect.
The breaker's working. So
now we'll have to recondition it though. Of course. And then we're gonna have to label it as reconditioned, right? For the next trade show, because these things only go to trade shows.
So true. So true.
Yeah. So I know you come to a lot of these, and you go to pulp and paper.
Yep.
I always see you at pulp and paper.
Steel
and also the healthcare.
Cement, steel. Yeah, there's a number of industries that are just.
Oh no, healthcare is
Justin.
Caron, yeah.
Caron is
Yeah.
He's even better than I am, so you should interview him.
So from an Eaton perspective, we have an individual like you covering certain segments, and then we have another individual covering other segments, and everybody has a different expertise.
That's right, and there's it's an overused word, but there's synergies in that.
Yeah.
In case in point, especially with the other heavy industry folks, or even with like Justin, there's a lot. Electricity is still electricity, right? Safety is still safety, no matter whether it's in a clean white building or if it's in a dirty steel mill.
Right.
You get some of the same issues, some different, but either way, it still goes back to our core product. It still has to operate the same way.
Yeah.
Right. So there's lots of still talking points that are relevant to if that's a consultant versus it's a facility manager at a hospital versus it's an ops manager at a steel plant. It's all the same kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's great to share that because there's lots of moments. And I'm so pleased to see here. There's probably half a dozen or more folks I'll see at Iron and Steel.
Yeah.
And they recognize that yes, Iron and Steel conference is great, but it's got this much safety, right?
Oh, really?
And it just doesn't hit home of what all they really should be gathering.
Sure. So. Yeah, I just did we did the Electrical Safety Workshop down in Colombia, and then we were in Africa.
The country.
Yeah,
Just to
the
be
country.
clear.
Not South Carolina, right?
Right, yeah.
The Carolinas, but we were down in Colombia, and then we went to Africa for Power Africa, which was not an electrical safety workshop, but myself and Nihad El Sharif, which a lot of people watch my program have seen Nihad, and we brought a safety discussion to Africa, and I tell you what, that was it was very well received. They wanted us to come back. That's the challenge. You know, they're starving for it because, to your point, you would think that in some of these forums there's a heavier content of electrical safety, but it's not as prominent. And then when you do bring the topic up, it's interesting to see how it's like a breath of fresh air to people, because they've not seen those discussions or heard those discussions or been able to engage, and then now all of a sudden you're bringing it to them, and it's nice to be able to do that, and hopefully we can grow that safety message, and really it meshes a lot with everything in a plant, operations, maintenance, every
other things that Tom shared in his paper. That's other things that Tom shared in his paper that wow, we should be talking about. And one yesterday, the gentleman that talked about temporary power.
Oh yeah,
wonderful, right? And and I've had probably half a dozen conversations with, especially end users, whether it's a lab or a paper mill, and they're like, every one of those bullet points he brought up, we have some of those same issues.
Wow.
And struggles, and we do some of it right, and some of it that was an awakening call of like, holy cow.
Yeah.
There was a couple of them that, no joke, had a conference call today with some of their folks back in their facility saying, we've got an upcoming project, and we know there's temp power. Have we really thought through our safety plan on this?
Wow.
And it's like, that hit home for me. Like, that's the reward, right? That's cool stuff.
Yeah, and you can't, I mean, it's cool to hear the stories, because case studies and things like that, delivering those messages, it really adds value to this program.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's safety's agnostic of, everybody's here to talk about safety, period, right?
And you know what they say, that little electron, it doesn't know the difference if it's in a commercial building or residential building.
That's right.
And the ones over in Colombia, they act the same way as the ones here in the U.S.
That's right. They sure do. Yes.
They're definitely agnostic to all of that.
For sure. Yeah.
So what do you think's the best display that we have?
Well, I tell you, it's all good stuff, right? But the fact is, this show promotes the opportunity for us to select one that's the best in show.
Oh, really?
Right? So it's a struggle when I look at if we had a big booth here, 400 square feet, right?
Yeah.
Plus whatever we leak out the aisle, plus
plus really, and how many people out there?
410, because our extratherm friends are across the hall, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we got extratherm over there.
Yeah. So, but we kept them still separate because it's co-branding, right? But either way, we got 410 square feet, and we could have brought more. So to pick one, super hard. But I will tell you that this year, what we particularly highlighted was the ductless. Let's be careful to talk about that duct. So not with that like quack
not
ducts,
a quack list, but a
we're all
ductless.
electrical people. We know this. The ducts to vent arc-resistant medium voltage starters.
Yeah.
So guys, what are we doing with these videos?
Well, you and I are going to talk about circuit breakers.
And we're going to talk about something a lot more exciting than that. We're going to talk about contactors.
Well, I got fuses, and you guys know all about fuses. We protect circuit breakers and contactors all the time.
Whoa!
Hey everybody, are you back? Alan, crew. I lost my internet, so it wasn't on your app. There is hearing this. We lost our serve, so don't pull it too far. Awesome. All right, so if you guys can chat it up a little bit. What's on the screen there? On the screen there? No. Okay, so it's still. Yeah, The phone is, the bandwidth is terrible, I guess. I don't know another solution. We're trying. We're trying. I'm trying. Stay tuned.
Yeah, there were so many hits, and then we dropped the internet.
Did you do some of it in like Spanish or Portuguese or something?
No, if I would have done that, it would be destroyed.
I think Tom speaks Spanish. He speaks math, but he doesn't speak Spanish.
Hey guys, we're having. I need you guys to chat it up. Hey Eric, come on over, buddy. What? Yeah, come on over, sit over there. So I got Eric Stromberg. Now we're having internet issues, so I don't even know if anybody's going to see this. But you know that
having chair dysfunction.
we have a chair dysfunction.
Yeah. Okay. I'm okay now.
Chair.
I'm okay.
So you can make funny faces. Scott Seaver's over there
Yeah,
making
Scott.
funny faces. Is anybody chatting saying they found it? Okay, I need love, guys, gals.
It's like a treasure hunt.
It's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah, treasure hunt. It's like the old adventure game, you know?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
you're a command line interface.
Yeah.
Tom Dimitrovich.
Yes.
And then a door opens you in a big cave. You know?
That's beautiful. I'm always in a cave.
Oh yeah.
So Eric Stromberg, Eric, why don't you tell everybody who you are? Why don't you tell everybody who you are?
Well, you know, first of all, I got to figure out who I am. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, Eric Stromberg. Let's see. I work for Los Alamos National Laboratory.
Okay.
I'm kind of a mutt, electrical mutt,
All right.
because I started as an apprentice electrician, became a journeyman, and I got a degree in electrical engineering.
Okay.
But then I went into life safety and worked in construction, putting in life safety systems in high-rise buildings.
Yep.
Then I entered the engineering office, worked in the engineering office for 10 years. Then I went back in the field and worked construction management.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of bouncing around doing all sorts of things.
Excellent. So you're like a guru, a jack of all trades,
Master of
and master of none.
I want to just fill that in, you know, because I heard it. I heard it.
You heard it coming.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's right.
And so you come to the Electrical Safety Workshop quite often, right?
I do. I think this is probably maybe my 10th year.
10th year.
I think so.
Wow, that's pretty good. That is really good, man. We probably have been. Well, I don't know how many years I've been coming, but so far in the program, what has been your highlight? And what? So, do you have a nugget of gold that you're going to take back to Los Alamos, right?
Wow, that's a tough one, Tom.
That's a tough one. Hey, that's what I do. I do tough ones.
You're challenging me, man.
Yeah.
Do I have a nugget of gold? Let's see.
Now you can always reference my presentation.
You know, yours, yeah, I really could. I really could. And I enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you.
I'm a little frustrated with the word safety.
Oh, really?
Well, because, okay, so I grew up in the electrical field.
Yeah.
One of the first things I heard was, okay, Eric, doing electrical work is a hide-and-go-seek game with death.
Wow.
And you have to find it before it finds you.
Yeah.
And it's hiding in a new place every day.
Wow.
So this is the way I grew up. I grew up, I'm like, totally aware. It's kind of like motorcycle riding, you know?
Yeah.
You know, because you're looking at everything. Just totally aware. Okay, where is death? Where is death? Where is death?
Yep.
Where is it? And so this is the way I grew up. I never even thought about electrical safety.
Yeah.
Because it was electrical death.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so I understand the electrical safety thing. It's the other side of the same coin.
Yep.
But the reason I get frustrated is because I know people. Well, they're not here anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's serious.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah.
so it's not safe. I mean, we as managers,
Sure.
we can talk about safety.
Yeah.
Okay, and we need to. We need to. We need to try to make the workplace as safe as reasonably achievable.
Right.
But when you're working in the field,
Yeah.
the last thing you can possibly do is think, "Oh, I'm safe."
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's a comfort level that you.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
because then if you think, "Oh, I'm safe,"
Yeah.
well, then your brain, in my opinion, anyway,
Yeah.
your awareness is not there anymore. Your brain is shut down. You're just working because you think you're safe.
You know, I think I would liken that to, as you were saying that, I can remember my dad worked at a steel mill, Jones Loughlin Steel Corporation in Aliquippa. And I can remember him coming home and telling stories about different individuals who have been in the mill 20-some years. And the one gentleman who knows better with the train tracks, because they tell you can't hear the train coming, you know, and it moving, and he was hit, you know, and killed, and he had so much confidence in what he was doing because he was an expert at what he did, but you get, I don't know, like relaxed or a level of acceptance, and I can see what you're saying, you know, that it's you don't want that comfort level. You don't want to feel that I don't have to think about safety,
Right.
and then just do whatever it is. But you want to, on the other hand, you want your employees to be able to go through a process so that they don't have to worry about it. But the fact is that you should always have that radar going on, that 360, that 30,000 foot to understand perspective, where you're at. And I call that street smart.
Well, street smart, yeah, that's great. I love that. I'm gonna start using that. But you're not getting a royalty check.
I'm not.
No, you're not. You're not getting a royalty check. But you know, I mean, it wasn't that long ago. There was a gentleman who died in California.
Yeah.
Got across 277 when he opened up neutral, and and that was discussed in the electrical safety workshop.
Right.
And after that was discussed, I got up to the microphone and I said, I just want everyone to realize that gentleman got electrocuted in an electrically safe work condition.
Yeah.
And of course, half the people say, oh, no, because all the sources weren't identified. But then the other half of the people who came up to me afterward and said, you're absolutely right. He got electrocuted in an electrically safe work condition.
Wow.
And the issue is that NFPA 70E doesn't handle neutrals. It's beginning to filter in. There's a note, 120.5, there's an informational note.
You're right.
But it's really cryptic.
You're right. In fact, we did an IEEE paper about an individual who was killed on the neutral.
Right.
You know, the grounded conductor.
The grounded conductor.
And when you think grounded conductor, you think, how the heck can you get electrocuted on a conductor that's grounded?
And I'm glad you said that, because now shifting over to NFPA 70, the NEC.
Yeah.
Okay. 250.36 is high resistance neutrals. And they've always said that they've talked about the conductor from the transformer to the top side of the resistor as the grounded conductor being grounded through the neutral resistor.
Yeah.
And I put in for like 4 code cycles. I said, you really shouldn't call it a grounded conductor, because in a ground fault condition, it's sitting at 277 volts.
That's right. Yeah,
and
you're right.
Why would you call a grounded? Okay, so this last code cycle, or 2023, I think was the first one, they totally changed 250.36.
Yeah.
And they came up with new names, and they don't call the grounded conductor anymore.
Wow.
So it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there. That's good. Hey Tara, how's the feed look? Tara. Hey Tara, how's the feed look? Does it look okay? No, it does cut out, so I might have to lower my boom a little bit.
Lower the bar.
Lower the bar. I gotta lower the bar. Yeah. Yeah. So all right. So I felt like I'm gonna lower the bar.
Hold on. I'll lower the bar. Well, and then bring this one needs to turn in more toward. Well, that one's pointing to you. That one's
That
pointing
one?
to you. I'm getting it. Okay.
Yeah. And then this one.
You know, I'm used to the dynamics. I'm just,
There we go.
I'm just right here on the microphone. You know.
I know. Well, so this was you and I were talking about these boom mics,
we
picking
did.
some things up, but I had it a little bit too high up. Hopefully that does a better job for everybody.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So you got in and you've been in the program. You do a lot of educating too, right?
I do. I do a lot of educating. I've got. It's one of my favorite parts of my job. I've actually developed 14 courses in the for electrical stuff, and it is the qualification course for young engineers to become senior engineers.
Gotcha.
And so I have a course at least every other week.
Okay.
So I work, like I say, for Los Alamos National Laboratory.
Yep.
The course is available to anybody. And I've got a distribution list, and last time I had 10 different people from 5 different labs, 5 other labs also show up.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I've also, I've had people from, say, the Santa Fe building office, the Albuquerque building office.
Yep.
So I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, that's pretty good. Are they saying the audio is any better, Tara? I moved the mics. She's not paying attention. All right. Tara. Are they saying audio is any better? I moved the mics down a little bit.
Yeah, he moved the mics. He lowered the bar.
I lowered the boom.
Yep.
I lowered the boom.
So anyway, the problem.
All right.
Okay.
One person says
Yeah,
good.
see, the problem is when people test microphones, well, there's so much noise around here. But one of the problems is, they say, hey, give me a mic check. Yeah, okay, testing, 1, 2. No, you have to say something like, the sun was shining on the sea, shining with all its might. It was doing its very best to make the billows smooth and right.
I love it.
The moon thought how rude of him, for it was the middle of the night.
I love it.
You gotta just talk.
Yeah, you gotta just talk.
Yeah.
So at Los Alamos National Labs in New Mexico, right?
New Mexico, northern New Mexico, up in the mountains.
So do you you have quite a few people here, don't you?
Let's see, Los Alamos, I think we have maybe 6 people here.
All right.
I think DOE altogether, Department of Energy, we have maybe 60 to 100.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, there's 17 labs around the country.
Yeah.
And so Livermore's got people here, Savannah River, Y12, Oak Ridge, Sandia, New Mexico.
Yeah.
There's several labs.
All right. So you're on code making panel 5,
I'm on code making panel 5.
and that's grounding and bonding, and you love grounding and bonding. I know you do. What's the any big news for 2026 in grounding and bonding?
Oh, what a great question. Have you ever seen The Big Lebowski?
No. Oh yeah, I did.
come on.
Yes, I did.
Okay, you remember the rug? I mean, the rug. It tied the whole room together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, we've got definitions in 2026. They just tie the whole room together.
Really?
Okay, because here's the situation. One of the most important definitions you can ever have
Yeah.
is the effective ground fault current path.
Okay.
Okay. Well, there were definitions in Article 100 for main bonding jumper, system bonding jumper, supply side bonding jumper, equipment bonding jumper.
Yep.
But they were all disembodied definitions floating in the ether.
Okay.
And so in 2026, they all begin with a component of the effective ground fault current path, and then they continue. And the beautiful thing about that is that you never knew what these things did.
Right.
But when you read the effective ground fault current path, you realize, oh, this is like one of the most important things in the entire installation, because that's the path for fault current to get back to the neutral point of the transformer. And so now it's the rug, man.
It's the rug.
It just ties the whole
Gelling
thing
like a
together.
fella.
It does, man. It does.
That's
I'm
pretty
excited.
good. That's
Pretty
good.
excited.
That's really good. So you got.
Another thing, really
What?
big, huge.
What?
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know. Irreversibility of the grounding electrode conductor.
Whoa. Irreversibility of the grounding electrode conductor. It's
Yeah.
a conductor. What are you saying that the electrons know what side is which?
Well, no, that's a good one. So actually, I left out a word. It's the splice. And so what's always been required is that the splice, if the grounding electrode conductor were spliced, it had to be spliced in an irreversible manner.
Okay.
But that was back right around the turn of the 1900s.
Okay.
When the grounding electrode conductor was the effective ground fault current path.
Interesting.
But it's no longer, and so I put in a PI,
Yeah.
and in 250.64, we talked about it in the code panel, and so they're no longer requiring irreversibility for splices that are accessible.
Oh, that's pretty
That
good.
is amazingly huge.
Oh,
we
yeah.
can do a whole video on the ramifications of that.
We're gonna do that
We're
for
gonna do it.
Shockwave.
We're gonna do it. Yes, we will. We will.
Yeah, well, tune in for Shockwave.
We're gonna
We're
do
gonna have
it.
Eric Stromberg from Los Alamos Labs. Oh, that'll be awesome.
I'm
can't
looking
wait.
forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think I got goosebumps.
Yeah. Why'd you look at your watch for goosebumps?
No, I'm
Before you put them on.
I think I got some goosebumps here.
I got some goosebumps.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I think I do.
Yeah. Why do they call them goosebumps? I mean,
That's another video.
that's a whole nother video. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Beautiful. Well, I appreciate you coming into the booth and bailing us out while we were having some internet issues.
Well,
You know, and
I'm here for you.
I know you are. You're Eric Stromberg. So.
And you're not.
And I'm not. Beautiful. Well, thank you, Eric.
All right. Thank you.
You're the man. You know
Always
that.
a pleasure.
Beautiful. All right. So, is this in the view? This a little bit. Okay. Howdy. Come on in, Emily. All right. We brought the microphones down a little bit.
Okay.
So hopefully audio will improve.
Alrighty.
So how are you?
I'm great.
It's
How
good
are
to
you?
see you.
Nice to meet you in person.
Yes, yes. And so, where are you out of it? Why don't you let everybody know who you are, what you do, and all that stuff. I'm going to put you on that camera.
Okay. So I'm Emily Offenlock. I'm the product engineer for our product management team based out of Asheville, North Carolina. And I support our AmpGuard and SD9000 medium voltage motor starters and drives.
Oh, wow. So, Asheville. You said.
Yes.
Asheville, North Carolina. We make all of our low voltage assemblies. And don't we do transfer switches in Asheville? Or is that something?
ATS.
ATS, yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Ah, excellent. Yeah. So you're a product manager.
I report to the product manager. I'm a product engineer.
Product engineer.
Yes.
Excellent. So what products do you focus on primarily again?
Medium voltage motor starters, so that's amp guard, and medium voltage drives, SC9000.
I thought that was out of Greenwood.
That's medium voltage switchgear.
Ah,
Very
yeah, we
clear as mud, right?
Clear as mud. So, what kind of stuff do we got going on in the booth?
So the product that I'm presenting today is our amp guard ductless AR, which is our arc-resistant version of amp guard.
Yes, and ductless.
Ductless, yes.
Ductless. Yeah, they gotta get the T in there. So, I know before, whenever we did arc resistant, you had to button everything up, which you still have to do.
Yes.
And then we had to vent it out of the building. Now you don't have to.
Correct. Now you don't have to push the fireball, so to say, up and out and into your blast zone.
Right.
Now the equipment has these arc absorbers inside that will filter and cool the air created from the arc blast, and then vent it into the room.
Oh, so it's like a muffler.
Yeah.
It's like a muffler.
Yeah.
So you do get some come into the room, but it's not something that is going to be hot and full of bad stuff.
Right. Yeah. The air is filtered. It's cooled, and to pass testing, there can be no flammable particles that are shot out of the equipment. And so we are IEEE C37.20-7-2017 certified, which means that nothing caught on fire. So a personnel that is in front of the equipment is protected.
Well, that's perfect. That's perfect. So now the doors have to be closed. We vent it up. We do an arc. What'd you call it? An arc?
Arc absorber.
Arc absorber. We have the arc absorber, and we have filters in there that'll filter the remainder of the pressure wave or whatever into the room. And it probably limits that reduces the amount of the footprint, the space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know in the past it's always been hard because if you had to go up and out or over and out, you had to have it at only a certain place in the building. So now you can put it anywhere.
Right. You can go in a basement. You can be in the middle of a room and not have to worry about intersecting anything in the ceiling. You don't have to worry about any construction on the wall, drilling a hole in the wall, sealing the wall. You don't have to do any of that anymore.
Oh, that's really cool. Now, do we color it like a special color or anything?
I wish. Eaton blue equipment, I wish. Yeah.
I love it. So, but well, that's pretty cool. So we got the arc resistant. What else? What other kind of new stuff we got going on? Do we have anything big coming out, or any big news coming up? I mean, can you help a brother out?
Well, I can say for SC9000, our drives, we have an active front end that was just released. So that's a different topology of drive that is now available.
Yeah, that sounds cool. How long have you been with Eaton?
About 3.5 years.
Where'd you come from?
Grew up in Chicago, came out of UW-Madison, so I went to school in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then I was an LDP, so I was operational. So now I flipped to the marketing side.
A lot of people out there don't know what an LDP is. Leadership Development Program, and I'll tell you what, I've had some of the best of the best. The way just for everybody's sake, the way Eaton operates, we bring very good professionals in, and we put them through a leadership development program. We put them into different divisions, different product lines, right?
Yeah.
So, and then when you get all of that exposure to all those different product lines, you sort of develop not just as a person, you develop not just professionally. You also develop as an individual because you're getting exposed to a lot of different portions of the business. So,
absolutely.
So are you still on a rotation, or are you out of that LDP program? Where are you at?
So I finished that last year in July. So this is my full-time role.
You're full-time.
Yes.
Excellent. So you're in. So what do you think? Coming from Chicago, and you went to Wisconsin.
Yes.
And now you're in North Carolina. Which one of those do you like the most?
That's a hard question. I'm obviously staying in North Carolina for a reason.
Yeah.
I love the weather, and living in the mountains is so excellent.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So safety.
Yep.
So have you been able to sit in any of the programs, or did you just come in for this?
No, I sat through the
is that right?
seminars today. Yeah.
Excellent. So what do you? Any gold nuggets for anybody out there? I mean, anything you learned? things stick in your head?
The one that stuck with me the most today was only a 15-minute seminar, and it was about no contact on low voltage devices. And what does no contact mean?
Right.
It means don't touch it.
Yeah.
But does everyone interpret that the exact same way? Should everyone interpret it the same way? I thought it was very interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And that when you have crossed the threshold for that, you're
Right.
already touching the device.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was a very interesting way to think about safety protocols like that.
Sure.
And how you should reword maybe some of that information.
Yeah, and how we talk makes a big difference. When we
absolutely.
say, just simple things on the terminology that we use.
Yeah.
Right.
When
So-
things are subjective.
Exactly right. Yeah. So, in what is obvious to me might not be obvious to somebody else.
Right.
Right. So it was no touch or
It was like no contact.
no contact.
Yeah.
No contact. Wow. So, are you going to take any of that back home with you? I mean, is there anything you think you could take back to the product line, back to Asheville, and say, hey, here's what I learned?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, although the applications aren't motor starter specific, you're
Right.
always thinking about the contractor safety, electrical employees in front of your equipment. So like in that specific case, always thinking about our instruction manuals that we're publishing and what we have on our equipment. Is that giving is the electrical personnel equipped to handle, the stuff that we
Oh
have
yeah! Wow, good job, good catch. You're the man. Sorry about yes, a safety issue. So let me ask you. You brought up a very interesting thing about the instruction manuals. So you're in a position where you help pull those documents together,
I
right?
sure do, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is, we're going through NFPA 70B right now,
Yeah.
and we're updating our protocols or our information in our brochures and catalogs on how to maintain products and things like that.
Right.
And the information that we put in there, it's interesting, or it's pleasing to me to see an individual who's relatively young in their career, right? You come out of the LDP program,
Yeah.
and you're moving into the marketing aspect, which is what I did when I first came to the company. I worked in the marketing group. I helped write a lot of our documentation, instructions, and whatnot. And to be coming to meetings like this, watching those presentations, and to be able to take some of that back with you and instill that in our literature, or be able to say, no, we need to improve this, and recognize the fact that language is so important,
Right.
especially in our publications.
Yeah.
And that's refreshing to see that you're getting the support from the product line and your leadership in your group to send you to a meeting like this.
Yeah.
Are you here all week?
Just for 3 days.
Just for 3 days.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's still good. You get to see most of the programs and all that good stuff, and then
Right.
you have access to download the presentations and download the materials, and then go back and then
And
crack
share
that
the wealth.
whip and share the wealth. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's cool. So, what kind of are we updating our? I know we're doing a lot in 70B. I know AJ he replaced me on the committee 70B because of the work he's doing down in Asheville. I just said, you know what, I'm stepping aside, and he's really kicking some butt and taking names. So, and we're changing a lot of things, But I know our literature and our instructions are very critical to that,
Yeah.
and you're a part of that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You enjoy it?
I do, yeah. It's really interesting to look from, like marketing, you can't have one lens.
Right.
You have to be able to see, I'm going to sell it, but then are they going to find the equipment helpful, useful? Is it
Right.
hard to use?
Oh, yeah.
Do they not like it after?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to think about all of those parts. So I think it's really interesting to see it from that lens.
Oh, yeah.
Not only are we presenting to our customers as how to maintain this equipment, but how do you physically maintain it?
Right, yeah. Do you ever have a vision or future of codes and standards in your
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Oh, man. That's okay. You got it?
I think so.
We're going to move this back. The leg is sticking out over there a little bit further than what we'd like.
Yeah, we're in the danger zone a little bit.
Hey, there's probably a movie like that, Danger Zone or something.
Good one.
I like it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, codes and standards could be in your future. I mean, if you're getting into the literature and writing instructions, and you know, in the world that I live in, verbiage is critical.
Yeah.
You know, and we argue about commas and we argue about semicolons, and I learned what an Oxford comma was.
Yes.
You know, so you probably already know what an Oxford comma was. And
More of the joke around like an Oxford. Like, what is an Oxford comma?
yeah, you know, so I learned that the hard way on a committee meeting. So, but it's okay. It's all good. So that's cool. So you got. So wait, where's my? I'm trying to see which one are you. MR2, PXR. So we're doing the ventless.
The ductless, yes.
The ductless. Oh man, ductless. You know, I think ventless would have been better. If you know somebody in marketing,
I'll
the
put
next
it,
one, yeah. Put a TD in front of it, and I'll be happy. Medium voltage motor control. You know, medium voltage is getting a lot of attention in the National Electrical Code. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Is it listed? Do you know if it's listed to UL standards?
Is ours listed to UL standards?
Yeah.
This ductless one is, yes.
It is. Awesome. Beautiful, because there's a new requirement that's going in place for medium voltage equipment. We have a stay of execution, a delayed enforcement, but there's a requirement that all of our medium voltage equipment that's going to be used in other than utility for it to be listed products. And we go through third party. I mean, it's medium voltage, and I know our assemblies division is very in tune with the value of getting something third-party reviewed and listed. So, and then we instill it in our mindset from the get-go. So here you are out of the LDP program, and you already know it's listed.
It's well listed, yeah.
So that's good. And in your future, that's what we really have to drive for. In my opinion, we want to make sure that we get a lot of third-party review and get that, especially medium voltage equipment. It's hard to argue against it, you know, but I'm glad we're ahead of that game, and I love to see the fact that we're coming up with new ways to handle an arc flash.
Right,
It's beautiful. Have you donned any PPE lately?
No.
You got a 40 cal outfit on?
No, I've never.
Oh
No.
man, you just gotta do that just to
Just
have
put
fun.
it on, just to...
Yeah, just to put it on. And you know, Dan Carnevale out of our Experience Center, which anybody out there should look up, our Pittsburgh Experience Center, and we have a Houston Experience Center. His kid dressed up, I believe it was his boy, put the 40 cal helmet on for Halloween, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the way to do it. You know?
Yeah, I've never tried it on.
Oh, you got to. Well, I don't know. They make them that small though. You know, they're usually full
pretty
of
chunky,
fabric.
yeah.
Exactly. But no, I appreciate you coming in, and I know that you know you're of a big value to the group here. So we have a lot of customers who like to learn and get educated. So share everything you know with everyone you can.
I'm going to try my best.
I know you will. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Come back again.
Okay.
I might need you.
Okay, you got it.
Cool beans. All right, so no complaints on audio or anything like that? We're looking okay? All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do, you know, I was almost thinking of lowering this, but if they say audio is fine. This one, hold on. What I am gonna do. Right like that. I might put it like this. Hey. And I'm gonna put this one. Oh, I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'm an audio stuff.
That's fine.
But I got color balance down, white balance down.
It looks good, but you can't hear it.
Yep. Mitch.
What's up?
How are you, sir?
Doing good.
You doing good? Staying out of trouble?
Mostly.
Mostly, that's
Yeah.
good. So I've got this paper here to tell me who's who, and you're Magnum PXR trip units.
Yes, sir. And some other cool stuff too.
And some other cool stuff.
Yeah.
So electronic trip units play a key role in arc flash reduction, right?
Yep.
But before we get into that, people need to know who Mitch is.
Who Mitch is? All right. Well, I'm Mitch McClain, the product manager for low voltage air circuit breakers. So that's our Magnum line, which is I think the coolest named product that Eaton has, and then also we have our Series NRX line as well.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So NRX is insulated case circuit breaker?
Correct. Yeah. So it has a construction of like a UL 1066 breaker.
Yep.
But it acts more like a molded case breaker as far as when it trips into trip curves and things like that.
Okay, perfect. So now a PXR trip unit, that's that brain that sits on the side of a circuit breaker that basically tells the breaker when to open.
Yeah, it's what protects everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And we rely on that for arc reduction, for overcurrent protection of conductors and busway and anything that's feeding, right?
Yeah. That is the brain that provides all the protections, which is why a circuit breaker is there in the first place.
Absolutely.
And then we've had a ton of advancement with our trip units over the last several years. We introduced Magnum PXR a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then we're getting ready to roll out and launch our newest trip unit, which is Magnum PXR with PXR 35 trip unit. And that's going to have a ton more of advanced communications. We'll have some excellent insights that we're able to give end users to help make everything safer and know when to do maintenance on their systems, and then also have just even more protection.
Are we building out the health?
Yeah. So one of the cool things that we have with PXR 35, and we do have the breaker health algorithm that is in all of our PXR trip units.
Yeah.
But with PXR 35, we're actually going to be able to look at the line and load voltages. So whenever the breaker opens, we can measure the arc energy, which then gives us very clear indication of how the contacts are wearing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So you'll know the impact to the contacts that are inside the device.
Exactly.
And then you can tell somebody that when to start pulling maintenance or when they're going to.
That's exactly what we're going to do, and we got a lot of other really cool stuff in the hopper, but I can't talk about that yet.
Okay.
But there's a lot more cool insights that we're going to be able to provide in 2026 with
awesome.
our Magnum breakers. So yeah.
That is absolutely awesome. So, all right. So we have more circuit breaker health. Are we pulling in any? I know we have exotherm now. With temperatures. Can our trip units are we thinking about pulling in, or maybe you can't say the temperature that's in the equipment from an environment perspective?
I'll just say that exotherm is now part of our power components division, which is what my product line is in, and we are fully committed to leveraging all of their technology within our devices. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'll tell you what, with maintenance, and so from an electrical safety perspective, understanding condition of maintenance is, I think, one of the hardest jobs that an electrician has as part of their job. Whenever they come up on site to say, I'm going to either be relying on this for the PPE category method or even the incident energy analysis. If they did an energy analysis, you've got to ascertain what is the current condition of maintenance, and to provide that information is huge.
And that's a big piece of what breaker health does, because it's looking at how long the breaker's been operating, if it's seen any sort of events, whether it's an overload or a short circuit, how many times the breaker's operated. And then with the arc energy now on PXR 35, we have very clear indication as far as what the rest of the life expectancy of that breaker is, and then when you do need to do maintenance, where should you focus your attention? Should you be looking at the arc chutes? Should you be looking at the contacts? Maybe one of your accessories could be going bad because it's been introduced to a lot of humidity. There's a lot of different insights that we're able to give customers with the new trip unit, because there's a lot more power in the brain that it has.
That's huge. Now, does it, well, obviously it communicates. Is it Modbus? Wait, we have a question. Arc flash or arc energy reduction? Arc flash is 70E and arc energy reduction is NFPA 70. So David Engelhardt is asking, so he's getting it, so what he's getting to is in 24087, and which would be where you're at here from a breaker perspective.
Yeah.
I believe, David Engelhardt, we said incident energy reduction in 24087. And what's the relationship between incident energy and an arc flash? That's a challenging question to answer, but all I know is what you're doing. I think the bottom line, David, is what his product does is reduces the clearing time.
Correct.
For the arcing current, period.
Yep, and we call that ARMS on the breakers, so
Yes.
Arc Reduction Maintenance System.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a little switch that's on the front of the trip unit. You can engage it in front of the breaker, or you can do it with a relay and engage
Yep.
it remotely as well.
Yep. And that's all a part of the PXR. That's like, I mean, is there anybody even in the engineering line or product line that even says, do we need the arc reduction maintenance system on this product? I mean, it's like a part of our fabric now.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it comes standard on our 25 and 35 trip units for that reason. On the 20, it's optional because some feeder breakers, some people don't necessarily want it, which, I mean, I always recommend that everyone use it and have it available, but I know there's code where I think it's under 1200 amps, you don't necessarily have to have the maintenance mode on it.
Yeah.
But speaking of arc flash and everything, one of the other cool devices that I'm showing here that's integrated into the breaker is our new motorized remote racking. So we actually have an integrated motor to where you can rack the breaker in and out of the cell from outside of the arc flash boundary, so an operator never has to get in front of the gear.
Hold on. So you're saying that whoa.
Sorry, I just dropped the bomb on you.
You just dropped the bomb on me because I'm like, wow. So what you're saying is it's built into the breaker. I don't even have to fix anything on the front of the equipment. I can just say, rack it up.
Yeah, you can use our PDMC, power distribution monitoring and control. You can do it through that, or we have a little pendant. If you're familiar with our medium voltage switchgear, we have MR2 on that as well.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing, it's just all integrated into the breaker.
And this is an NRX or a Magnum?
This is on Magnum PXR.
Magnum PXR. So a Magnum breaker, and what I'll try to do after we process this, I'm going to try to put this up. I'll throw a picture of a Magnum up here if I can use this.
Yeah, we have a little vanity link for it too, like a lot of our other websites. Eaton.com/Magnum MR2.
Oh, Eaton.com/Magnum
MR2.
MR2. Oh man, so that has its own
little page, yeah. And there's a nice little video of me walking it through.
Oh, you're in the video.
So if people like me, they can watch more of me, I guess. I don't know why someone would do that.
You're a rock star. That's cool. So okay, let me ask you the other question then. So I don't have to put anything on the front of the equipment. I can just tell it to rack out.
Yep.
And it's motor operated. So is it? And I can picture a Magnum. A Magnum breaker is kind of large.
Yeah.
It's sitting back in the cell. And where's the motor operator? Is it?
It's all in the mechanism that racks the breaker in and out. We just put a motor in there, and then there's a little control that goes through what we're calling our tertiary connections on the secondaries, and that's what gets power to the motor.
Oh, because there's that.
Well, traditionally you have to wrench it in and out.
Yeah.
So you can still do that with this in case like you lose power or something like that. You can still rack the breaker manually in or out. But yeah, now you don't have to. You don't have to have anyone get in front of the gear.
Okay, well, so let me ask you the next question. Can I rack it in?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it can go all the way from disconnect to
I just got
test
goosebumps.
to connect. And then you can go all the way back out. So
that is so cool.
You can do it all remotely too. You can have a guy in a control room who goes, okay, I'm going to open the breaker and I'm going to rack it out, and boom, done.
Wow.
It takes about 30 seconds for the breaker to fully rack from connect to disconnect.
Tara, did you hear that? We can rack a breaker in and we can rack a breaker out with the door closed.
And no one in front of it.
And I just learned that. Now, don't tell me we've had it for 4 years.
It's been available for about a year and a half. It's been available from our assemblies group for about a year.
You know what I have to do? I have to get down to the assemblies group, and I've got to work closer with them because that's insane.
Yeah. So and we do have them installed at our different PSECs.
Okay. All right. So it's up in Pittsburgh Power Experience Center and the Houston.
Yep. We got a demo unit in Houston, and then we have a full-blown switchgear lineup with the MR2 in it in Warrendale.
Oh, perfect. Warrendale, Pennsylvania. So if if you guys and gals want to get to one of those experience centers, let me know because I can hook you up. We'll get you connected so that we can coordinate it and get you in front of the equipment. So that's the hard part, is to get the experience to actually get your hands on something that's functional and it's not energized and it's safe. Yeah, and that equipment probably, it's not something you see you can't go down to your local Walmart or Home Depot and go see that stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
So
it's in switchgear, so
yeah.
I hope people don't have public access to
I don't think
switchgear.
so. I don't think so. But we have it at our experience center.
Yep.
Okay, so how long you been with Eaton?
I'm coming up on 11 years with Eaton. So.
Oh wow, excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
Been around a little bit. I was in Texas for 8 years doing OEM sales, so I'm very familiar with all of our components on that side of everything. Then I've been in the product management role for a little over 3 years now.
3 years, all right.
Yeah.
So you're in
I'm in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, okay,
Yep.
yeah. All right, yeah. I'm in West Baghdad, Virginia, so we're stone's throw away. Excellent. So, I know, and I was telling everybody about the talent that we have in the booth. And we have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and I appreciate what you do.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here for electrical safety, and I know you're carrying that torch for electrical safety and the product lines, bringing it here to the booth, and that means a lot.
This has been a great event. So we've had a lot of engaged people coming by, and it's always fun doing these events with people because I always feel like I'm the dumb person in the room, which I think is awesome because there's so many smart and bright people at Eaton. So it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you being over here, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So we got the stuff going on, and we have a lot of really great individuals in the booth, walking by, being a part of the program. I'm just elated at the amount of technology, and I just learned, and I don't know why I didn't know this, but I just learned that we have a product you can rack the breaker out and in with the door closed remotely. I mean, that to me is absolutely insane. Watch that cord. That is just, and now we're going to have AJ. So let me tell you about this guy, AJ Johnson. Watch your fingers there. Yep. AJ Johnson was. Thank you for coming, AJ.
Thanks for having me.
And you were here last year, right?
I was.
Now, you took my spot on 70B.
Well, technically Scott did. I took Scott's spot.
Yeah, well, that's okay. But I gave up my spot for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, because when you see passionate people for things like maintenance, and it's not in your job description.
Nope.
No, and you took on the role of ushering in and taking the entire Asheville facility and taking them to the next level from a safety perspective, and that's
trying to get them there. Yep.
Yeah, and it's absolutely, and that's what it takes. I mean, we're all nibbling at the.
Well, it's one of those things. If you're going to talk the talk, you want to walk the walk too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's hard to get someone to buy off on something when you don't do it yourself.
Oh yeah, you're right. So why don't you do this? Why don't you tell everybody over there who you are and what you do?
Okay. So I'm Austin Johnson. I go by AJ. I'm our low voltage product manager for switchgear specifically. So you talk to Mitch. He makes the breakers that go into my stuff. That's my primary focus. I've been in marketing, product management for a little over a decade now. Been with the company for almost 10 years. And that's been my main focus. And then as of last year, I'm now our alternative voting member for the NFPA 70B technical committee.
Yes, absolutely. Now you were in the busman group, weren't you?
I was in the busman group. I was in the busman group for 6 years. 6 years,
yeah. And now you're growing out of that. So you were a component, basically. I mean, you were a component that went in assemblies. Now you are representing the assemblies. You're a product manager, right?
Yep.
And low voltage assemblies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we say assemblies because even though switchgear, UL 1558 switchgear is like our primary focus,
right?
We technically also still make the high resistance grounding modules. So that's where it's assemblies.
Yeah.
And we can also technically build UL 891 switchboards, even though we have a whole separate line for that with our PNS group.
Gotcha. PNS, panel boards and switchboards.
Yeah, I should have elaborated.
No. I love it because I get the acronyms, and it tests me because I'm like, all right. And
do you know what it is?
Do I know what this is? Because and then I just try to. So perfect. We had LDP thrown around, and we had a few others. So. But all right. So You're big on maintenance.
on maintenance.
Just talked. I just learned for the first time, and I don't know why this happens to me, that we can rack out our Magnum breaker and rack it in with the door closed.
Yep.
And they built that motor operator in there. I remember when it was a big thing.
It still is a big thing. You can still get like that legacy style, but that's where we're trying to move to, because the issue with that legacy style is you've got to have someone that then goes inside the arc flash boundary, so they got to be suited up. With this, if you want to connect and disconnect your pendant, you need to do that. But you can also have it go out to a remote terminal to where you can put that in a control room where someone's not even in the room and rack it in and out. So you can have it racked out before someone even goes in anywhere close to it.
Boy, that is so valuable. And you combine that with the PXR trip units that gives you health.
Yep.
And then you combine that with exotherm, where you're getting temperatures and humidity and all the other parameters.
And then you can take it a step further. So back in October, we released what we're calling Gear Guard for low voltage switchgear.
What was it called?
Gear Guard.
Gear Guard, okay.
So it builds on the premise of what we do with thermal monitoring with exotherm team. So we still utilize those sensors, but then we've added extras. So one of the criteria for understanding the health of your equipment over time and for your maintenance procedures is you need to know the operating environment. So a lot of times that's an unknown. You may think you're in a good environment, but that doesn't necessarily mean what's happening outside is the same as what's going on inside. So if maybe you've got some water ingress coming in from where you've got your cabling being pulled from, something along those lines. So now we've added in ambient temperature, we've got ambient humidity. We actually are doing active dew point control. So if you get too close to dew point, we'll actually kick your heaters on to try to raise the temp to get you away from that point, so you don't have to worry about condensation occurring on bus bar. And then we're also doing smoke and dust in it. So again, things that could happen over time due to lack of maintenance or just someone not being there, we'll bring that out for you.
Wow. That, to me, that is, to have that going on and that continuous monitoring aspect. Now, do I need software outside to get that done?
No, so that will get built in initially. Like we'll go through with our PXG 1000 product, and you would have like their graphics set up. You pull it up, you can get a standard one-line view, or you can do like the actual outline of your gear. It'll let you know if you've got a warning. So the warnings are configurable by the end user for whatever they may need. And then we have preset alarms. So those alarms are actually defined by the IEEE standards and limitation of what the gear is. So those you can't change. And those will be like, hey, you've gone outside what this gear is rated for. You've got issues, you need to get someone out there. So if you've got a lot of installs, because we know with maintenance teams, they're losing a lot of experience and they're not necessarily getting backfilled. So if you've got multiple sites, or if you've got sites that are really remote, you can see all that data over your internal network and understanding like what it is, so you know where to direct people for certain items.
That's smart. I like it. I like it a lot. Man, I'm learning a lot here today. So what are we talking about? So is that what are you talking about in the booth here?
So I'm just kind of a free roam. I'm trying to be there for being our FPA 70B liaison. So if anyone has questions on electrical maintenance plans, how they can be compliant with that FPA 70B, I'm willing to offer that up. If there's general questions on low voltage switch gear, I can do that. And even if they got questions on, even though I'm not with Busman anymore, I still carry passion. I mean, I'm more than happy to talk about the CCP, talk about Q fuses any day, all day.
Oh, absolutely. You gotta love the current limitation.
Yeah. You gotta have finger safe.
Finger safe is critical. And I'll tell you what, before the acquisition, I can remember Tim Cernko going to these meetings, and I would look at that quick spec panel. And I would go over and always give him a hard time because he's it was Tim Cernko, and he gave me a hard time, so I had to give him a hard time. But I loved that quick spec panel. I still do. You can change the fuses without taking the dead front off. Don't have to expose your electrical worker, and there's nothing. Everything is finger safe. Nothing you can touch that will cause electrocution and whatnot. And then when you turn it on, you can't pull the fuse out. There's the interlock scheme. It's just an innovative way to do it.
It's doing a combination. It's kind of giving you the best of both worlds. I mean, you get the space savings. I mean, the whole campaign from the power space. You're able to get everything condensed, just like you would with having something completely separated. So like there's still the CC version, the classic control, where you can instead of having like a UL 508 disconnect along with your UL 248, 4248, 248, having being two separate items. Now you're just installing one. Same thing with this, and benefit of it, like compared to like say like your standard disconnect, is your fuse is pullable right from the front. You're not having to open the screen and get a fuse puller to pull out, say like a Class J fuse.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I tell you, it's just amazing how much technology is safety driven. What I love to see is the new products that were coming out that is focused on safety, focused on maintenance, and you can see that our engagement in codes and standards is driving the internal thought process, keeping it at the front of the brain instead of the back to say, look, if I am going to make a modification or come out with a new product, what can I put in here that helps with maintenance or safety?
Yeah, I mean, just sitting in on some of the papers, I mean, an example for the temporary power, I feel like there's a section we can add to 70B, probably like in the general section, that talks about like, hey, if this isn't a permanently installed equipment, you still should be doing maintenance and making sure it's sufficient. So maybe we need to have language in for that.
Absolutely.
And I'll post this out to anyone that's in the audience. If you happen to be a knowledge expert when it comes to stuff like power factor correction, that's certainly a gap within the product specific sections like we don't have today. So even with the 2026 revision coming up, the 2023 revision, we didn't have anything for automatic transfer switches. That's something new that's been coming into play for 2026. So there's still room for improvement. So if you see a gap with maybe there's a particular product that you don't see an equipment specific section on, feel free to go and provide that as a public input.
Oh, absolutely. And then if you want help with that, so the other aspect I keep telling people, don't develop on an island. Reach out. You can reach out to myself, to AJ. Everybody knows my channel and my emails out there. Reach out to me and say, hey, I'm interested in contributing and helping develop a chapter on this. And then we can get some of our people. I might be able to get some industry people involved and point you in the right direction and help develop the language that goes into the code, because I agree with you. There are multiple areas of opportunities inside of 70B.
Yeah.
So I got the rabbit ears 2 minutes thing. Yeah, they're about. You know what we
kick me off.
We know we should have is a shepherd's hook. We should have a shepherd's hook. Tara, we need to get a shepherd's hook. Yeah.
Ties into electrical safety.
Ties into electrical safety, and it just pulls it all together. Absolutely. I love it. So great new products coming out of Asheville, North Carolina.
Yep.
And I love the fact that we make it right here in the United States. But we also have satellite plants, right?
Yeah, we do. They're all across the U.S.
All across the U.S.
So if you got need for panel boards and switchboards, they'll take care of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And globally, we have manufacturing over in Austria and Germany and down in South America too.
Yeah, and we've got facilities that do like kind of the endpoint finishing in Mexico. We got it up in Edmonton, Canada.
Yep, truly a global organization. Great opportunity to spread knowledge and resources and technology to save lives. That's what we do.
Yep, definitely.
If anybody ever asks you, we'll save lives.
I sure hope so.
And I can't wait to get you on a code making panel. You got to pick which panel you want to go get involved with, and we got to get you on a panel.
Just don't make me replace Pavia. Those shoes are too large to fill.
Oh no, yeah. Or Dan Easer.
That too.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Dustin Johnson, AJ.
Yeah. Thank you for having me
You're
on.
the man. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Okay, so I'll tell you what. We have had a lot of key individuals on the here so far, and hopefully, Thomas is here. This is the man, the legend, the Exotherm legend. Awesome.
Good to be here.
Good to see you. And I saw you on how many different times, Erica by, and I love it because you have the same first name as me.
Easy to remember.
Yeah, easy to remember. Somebody called. I think they called you, and I'm like, yeah, you know. So, what is it that you do? I mean, this is a recent acquisition,
That's right.
And you're now part of a larger, I guess, you were an individual. I don't want to say an individual company. You were a system that had to find homes because by yourself, it's like you add value to something,
right?
And now you're a part of a larger group that has all of these big great boxes. And
That's right.
It's a huge opportunity.
It is an awesome opportunity,
Man,
Thomas.
You must be in like a pig in mud.
It's exciting times, yeah. Certainly a lot of dynamics and momentum, yeah. So to introduce what Exotherm does, Exotherm is the pioneer and the technology leader in the space of continuous thermal monitoring. So the detection of hotspots across power distribution networks. Whenever cables become loose, or bus bar joint bolts become loose over time. Right. Resistance increases, temperature increases, then leading to accelerated aging behavior over time and premature breakdown and fires breaking out, arc flashes occurring, fires breaking out, and in consequence, networks being subject to unplanned outage, to failures, but then people being subject of harm. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Exotherm is on the journey since over 2 decades of helping owners and operators of power networks to run more resilient systems and to keep people safe.
That is pretty cool. So tell me, what do you do for Exotherm and who are you?
All right, so my name is Thomas Schmidtchen and I'm leading Exotherm's activities currently in the Americas.
Exotherm's what?
Exotherm's activities in the
activities.
Americas.
Okay. Oh, for the Americas.
That's
where
right.
Where are you originally from? I hear an accent. No, don't tell me. I'm thinking Australia.
No, not bad, not bad. A little bit closer. So my accent is German, if any.
Oh, German.
So I'm a German American. I was born in the United States, but to German parents, and we ended up moving back and forth as I was growing up.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
So I grew up in Florida. I was born not far from here.
Yeah.
I went to school in California and spent 7 years working in Texas. I spent 4 years in Europe now, in Italy and in France, and happy to be back at the ESW in the United States this week.
Absolutely. So Exotherm, I've known Peter Bain for a very long time.
A legend in the industry.
Somebody made the statement. They said, "Boy, you got to get him on camera because if you get him on camera, it will be a blast."
That's true.
And he is he's a personality and he represents the organization very well. And he does a lot of work at IEEE.
That's
so
right. Yeah.
I know everybody loves him and he's contributed. So and I know Exotherm supports him.
Yes.
And it's really important for our leaders to understand the significance and importance of involvement in organizations like IEEE and others to develop the standards, to develop the safety criteria.
That's right.
And even without Eaton, Exotherm was stepping up to the plate, and I'm sure that we're going to put that on the what do you call it, the high burner or whatever, and I'm sure we're going to bring some really cool solutions to the market together.
Oh, certainly. We're working together with multiple of the Eaton business units already for doing more together, and we're bringing better solutions to the market for our customers. And we're very excited about the synergies and the momentum that we're facing. Everybody in Eaton has been super accommodating and friendly and supportive on this journey.
So we got Steve Spiker. Steve says, USA-made products is meaningful. Yes, easier for tech rep assistance, faster responsive manufacturing facility located in Con US? Come on, Steve, what's Con US? Connecticut, United States? But we were just talking about our assemblies divisions in Asheville and in North Carolina, South Carolina. You got Cleveland, Tennessee, which I used to think was Cleveland, Ohio, but it's another. We have another place in Cleveland, Ohio. So we have a lot of manufacturing here in the United States, and I think from an assemblies, it's important to have manufacturing facilities as close to where you're using it with sustainability.
Yeah, that's right.
We have satellite plants across the United States, and Exotherm is going to be in every one of those, but we need people to specify it. We need people to ask for condition, for thermal monitoring, continuous thermal monitoring.
That's right. That's right.
So because it's not a code requirement, it's not going to be a part of a mandated inclusion. It has to be a part of the fabric of whoever's purchasing it.
And like you say, while, for example, Peter Bain, you were just mentioning him, is actually heading the Industrial Applications Society's working group for the establishment of a continuous thermal monitoring standard, it's still not a standard yet. And you're right, most power distribution networks today are still being blindly operated to failure, and it's about getting a grip in times of circularity and sustainability, in terms of doing more with less.
Oh, absolutely.
And, getting those eyes and ears into the field in order to understand where to direct the activities and what to do next. And where not to go, and instead have still 24/7 visibility and the power on.
Absolutely.
The peace of mind of the power being on.
And then you marry that with
With Bright Layer.
Bright Layer.
That's
oh
it.
my gosh, I couldn't think of the words.
That's
you
it.
You married that with Bright Layer.
Yes.
And then, like, we had, I forget what her name was. I think it was a her. It was a him. It was a him. I can't remember anybody. But he was saying that we have different modules.
That's right.
And then what you do is you get the notification on your phone that, you know, here's the temperatures are increasing. And then AJ made the statement that we can tell if the humidity goes up. We can tell the heaters to turn on to avoid the impending possible, what do you call it, when water forms on something. What do they
Condensation.
call it? Condensation. Jeez, oh man. I got my brain's going 3 different times, and probably the, yeah, you know what, the camera B is probably battery. That battery probably goes right there, so we got to fix that one. But in any case,
all right.
So you've been with Exotherm for how long?
For 2 years now.
2 years.
Almost 2 years, yeah.
And now are you still living over in Italy or France? You said.
So I started in Exotherm with taking the responsibility for the activities in Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Okay.
And I've just recently, at interim, taken the Americas as well.
Okay. So you have the Americas as well. So you're a global guy.
Well, I've inherited the Americas 2 weeks ago, and happy to be back in the country of
awesome.
my. Exactly.
Awesome. Yeah. Excellent. And we're going to be we have a system called Bid Manager that our distributors use, but we need consultants to say, and owners, we need that all the ways up through the people say, I want that continuous monitoring. I want to have that value. And if they're considering Bright Layer, they should definitely be considering our Exotherm products. Now, can I retrofit Exotherm products into an existing piece of equipment?
That's right. So Exotherm solutions are possible to be used in both new build greenfield applications, new medium voltage, low voltage switchgear, transformers, bus duct solution, UPS, you name it, but also suitable for brownfield retrofit. So we're working together with the Eaton service organization in getting those eyes and ears into the networks that are today being blindly operated to failure.
Wow. So are they sensors? I mean, oh yeah, they are. So in fact, we have them in the booth over there, but they mount near the bus bars and joints. So we strategically place the thermal monitors in like around connection and splices and things like that.
Every critical connection in the power system, and all of the Exotherm solutions have in common that these sensors, these eyes and ears, are contactless, so not directly in contact with any power parts.
Right.
Outside of the clearance distance or tie wrapped around the installation.
Right.
So they're contactless. They're powerless, not powered. That means no batteries need to be replaced. Or no amplifier that introduces drift and requires calibration is needed. And thirdly, they are wired and not wireless. So no problems with regards to electromagnetic interference or cybersecurity concerns, but instead unlocks the feature or the fact of Exotherm solutions being maintenance-free over the equipment's life. And with the confidence of over 20 years of experience, we are giving the lifetime warranty on our infrared sensor and cable sensor. So if any ever breaks, which it hardly does, we provide the replacement, no question asked.
Wow. So you have a sensor that's close. What the cable that's connecting, is it fiber? What is it? Do you know?
It's not fiber. Okay. It's not fiber. It's a galvanic connection providing a millivolt signal, which is the direct implication of the rise over the ambient measurement, the delta T.
The delta T.
That's
okay, so you're measuring delta T.
Which is super important. I even like to step it up and call it Exotherm solutions, the cable sensor and the infrared sensor, are what I like to call equalized for ambient temperature by design. Many solutions out there give you the absolute temperature reading.
Right.
But is 120 degrees good or bad, or is 150 degrees good or bad? You don't know.
You don't know.
What counts is the delta T.
Yeah.
So, for example, in the infrared sensor, you have the sensor head that receives the infrared waves, and the reference ambient sensor is inside that same sensor head. So the output, without any need for configuration or calculations or interpretations, gives you the delta T off the bat.
Wow, that is really
Standard
cool.
off the shelf, scalable, ready to go.
Scalable, ready to go, and it does it through a millivolt, and every millivolt equals a temperature value of some sort. So we put that all through the equipment, and you can retrofit that in because you know how to mount it and where to mount it.
Right.
And as long as you get access to it, so you'd have to take the equipment completely down, and pull
please.
breakers out, and get some things exposed. Install those
Lockout,
sensors.
tag out, everything, of course.
Yep, and now, so then those sensors, do they go back to a central brain of some sort?
So the sensors hook up to a data card that speaks Modbus RTU, and then you take it to your marshalling cabinet, you take it to your control room, you take it through Eaton digital solutions to a local HMI, to the edge or to the bright layer cloud.
And since it's Modbus RTU, it can really go to anything.
That's right.
It's not driven. It's not just tied to Eaton product. That's why you had to do that because and it was in your best interest because you want to be open. You want to use open protocols. So
it's an industry
anybody
standard.
can
Anybody can intercept.
That is very nice. That is really nice. Did it work? But I'm on this camera here now. Yeah. I'll fix that one after we're done. So we're just on that one. I had this one to get like a close-up, so we lost the battery.
Okay, no worries.
So I like the fact that you are agnostic, and then we bring that into our software, and it's up to our little modules to add that value and pull the information. And then if you have like Wonderware, Iconics, or a Metasys a Metasys system, we can bring that information anywhere. Just put it on a data highway. Now, cybersecurity. What about cyber? We put that through Max Wandera's group and all of our cybersecurity.
That's right. So every piece of the Exotherm portfolio has undergone the Eaton cybersecurity assessment.
Right.
And in a few exceptions, we did have to do a little bit of modifications where we're engaging with the Eaton team to get things as safe and sound as Eaton and our customers expect.
Yeah. So I'm a part of the Codes and Standards Center of Excellence, and Max Wandera manages the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence. And I always say that Max walks around with the cone of silence, right, from Maxwell Smart, right? So, but in any case, so what I like about how we're organized as an organization is we have a group of individuals who have that in their expertise. So if they want to know, if you want to know, like, when it comes to cybersecurity, I don't know anything about it, and you look at some of our engineers on the product lines, they don't know anything about it, but when you have that core, that's all they focus on, they eat, drink, and sleep cybersecurity, that's the best way from an organization to make sure that all of our products, when they leave the door...
It needs to be harmonized across everything the organization does, and we learned a lot about this approach and the processes and improved the Exotherm portfolio.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what though, I mean, I don't know about you, but man, when it comes to that stuff, it's like, just give me some freedom, I just wanna do X, Y, and Z, but you gotta put the barriers in place. You gotta think about those bad actors that want to either get your data. Now, you don't have anything that is going to trip or open or anything, but data is important,
That's right.
And to know, I mean, you might say something as simple as temperature data. You go, well, how harmful could that be? But knowledge is power.
It's true. Yeah. Or even the modification or the interception of alarm signals, or you can modify it. And cybersecurity is a moving target. That's why I think some fundamental design principles, like we discussed earlier, wired versus wireless, is so important in order to not even open doors for possible entries by design in the first place.
Yeah, you don't want to have false sensors or anything like that.
That's right.
And them, I love it. And the play and the interlinking with 70B and maintenance is so, and it's getting so much focus these days in the National Electrical Code and 70B, and we've got this struggle going on where the NEC is requiring maintenance, and we'll have those, and including myself, I'll raise the flag and I'll say, does it really make sense? And where 70B is that play, but in my opinion, and I'm starting to beat this drum, and people on my channel have heard me say this, but I think we need to look at the installation requirements differently when it comes to maintenance. because I've been recently, I did a comparison of 70E safe work practices. 70E tells us we need to have workspace. The National Electrical Code requires working space. 70E tells us we have to have shock protection. The National Electrical Code requires you to install GFCIs and other technologies and barriers, right, to limit contact. When it comes to maintenance, we have a requirement in the code that says you shall perform maintenance. Well, it doesn't make sense because it's an installation requirement. What the NEC should be saying is you need to have IR windows installed in these applications. You need to have thermal monitor installed in these applications. Find the critical areas that warrants an installation requirement, and give me the prescriptive language that says you need to provide this information, or give me options.
Yeah.
Tell me, look, this needs to be maintained. Rabbit ears. This needs to be maintained.
Yeah.
And make a part of the installation requirements things to help me facilitate maintenance.
Right.
Thermal monitoring is one of them. These IR windows, Iris and other manufacturers make these windows that give you the ability to do infrared scanning and things like that. And the continuous monitoring would help in that too. Right?
I think so. I think some general trends that you start seeing in the industry, for me, is all around standardization and modularization and simplification.
Right.
And at the same time, using digital technologies, including sensors, if you want that way, for getting equipment digitally enabled or smart even, as a standard. I firmly believe that that's the journey where power distribution equipment is heading towards.
I'm with you.
One day every piece of kit will come connected as a standard. So all of this, like in adjacent industries, in the automobile industry, in the airline industry, we've seen that before.
Absolutely.
And I think power distribution infrastructure is heading that way. So I think that this need for maintenance, or that this approach towards maintenance and engagement will be reshuffling or reshifting as well over the next decades to come.
This is such an awesome time to be a part of the electrical industry.
It's a super time to be in electrification.
Oh, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Thomas, thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me
today. You are a wealth
Thomas.
of knowledge. Thanks for being here at the Electrical Safety Workshop and sharing what you know.
Great meeting you today.
Yes, nice
Thanks
meeting you too. We've got to have dinner sometime.
Cheers, we will.
All right.
See you later.
We'll see you later. All right, I'm going to try to fix this camera. I've got my small rig. This is a 51%.
Did you break it?
Yeah, because I give me a thing, feeder, so.
You got something there?
Well, it's coming back. It says no impact.
I need a slouch down.
We're good now. All right. So, see, I can do this now. And
How
I
you
can
doing,
have
Tom?
How are you, Ray?
Oh, pleasure.
You are the man. So tell
That's
me,
what you tell me.
Who is Ray Barba and what do you do?
So I am with the training group. Work with Mike
King. He's
I was
the
about
king.
to say Mike kind of.
I know, he's a king,
but
man.
Mike King and John Coma. I mean, it's a great group to be out there.
Oh yeah.
You know, I love it. So one of the things I do is I travel throughout the United States based on our customer base and teach them about Eaton equipment, and in many places teach them about their equipment specific. Whether it's ABB, whether it's Square D, some of the older stuff, and even some of the old Westinghouse, DS2 breakers, VCBW, so it's a blast.
All the other manufacturers are all older stuff because all the newer stuff is Eaton. So,
yes, exactly. I agree with that. It's the better stuff, you know?
Yeah. So you do a lot. You do education. So you know, one of the things that I tell people all the time, I teach a 70E class.
Okay.
And one of my messages is around hazard awareness.
Correct.
Okay. Now, hazard awareness. So we teach what the hazards are. You have arc flash, arc blast, shock, and then electrical shock, and then you have thermal burns, right?
Correct.
But it's really critical that we are able to recognize. If I told you for shock that it has to be above 50 volts, and I put you in front of a low voltage assembly, and you have to look at it and go, well, what's above 50 volts and what's not? You may or may not know, right?
Right.
So, any knowledge and any educational material around a product.
Yes.
Even as simple as a receptacle. If I take with receptacle and show you where the hot terminal and where the neutral terminal and where the ground is, and I tell you what is energized, what's not, I teach you about the yoke, I am doing 70E training.
Oh, most definitely.
So when you go out to a site, and you're doing the education of here's the equipment that was just brought out, or that you have, to your point, on site, that's all 70E training.
All the time. And the luxury with me coming into the training group, when I worked in the field service as a field service engineer, I was exposed to a lot of the equipment that Eaton manufactured way back to the Westinghouse days, even with the current equipment that's some of our competitors, but some of the transitional items. So working with our customers, talking to them, hey, this is a new product that Eaton provides that we can transition or adapt into your current equipment,
right?
And just adding that knowledge of, hey, we're going to improve your safety with the equipment that Eaton provides.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's amazing how the customers receive that, and they like. So you're looking out for our best interest. One for support, safety, and product reliability. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I got all that experience with Eaton.
Oh, that's cool. Way back when, right? And then you're back in the saddle again.
Back in there, I left Eaton, as you know, for a little bit, and then I was so glad to come back and then be a part of John's and Mike's team, the training, because not only do I get to pass my experience with the customers, but I also talk about the experience of, you know, if you've been in this industry long enough, you'll have seen events, you'll or know somebody that's been involved in events, and unfortunately you'll see some things that are tragic.
Right.
But you're able to share that to a customer to the point that you're just not talking from a book, you're talking from experience, real world experience, and you bring that home. Customers like that, and most of all when you're talking to the attendees of our classes, because we do 70E training. We also talk about equipment training. A lot of customers will want customer-specific equipment training.
Right.
But we always bring in that hazard component. Any type of energy, stored energy, electrical, discharge, capacitive energy that we work on. And how do we look at this and overcome that? How do we protect ourselves and our coworkers and the workers that they have? And they receive it very well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's huge. And like you say, you're on site. You're bringing knowledge to the table, and you're working with the customer on their equipment. I mean, there's a lot to be said about that.
Oh yeah.
You know, because now they're not in a class where you're looking at generic equipment, and then you got to go back and go, okay, this is similar to what he was talking about.
Right.
This is exactly what you're talking about.
Well, and the one great thing with the training group is we bring them into like the Power System Experience Center, the PSEC. Or in many cases, I'll go out to the customer site and work with them on their equipment, which is completely disconnected. It has to be completely disconnected from a live source. Or we bring our trailers. We have 3 portable trailers that we can take to different sites. Now, some have VCBWs in there, which are our medium voltage vacuum circuit breaker. Our amp guards, which is our medium voltage motor starters, or MCCs, our motor control centers, and go there and do the real world operation of that equipment, but in a safe and controlled environment.
Oh, that's critical.
So, and it's very good. Some of the 70E things that we've done up in one of our customers, Grand Rapids, Michigan, we shipped one of our trailers. They donned their 40 cal suits. They did live, They pulled a breaker out. We made a scenario for lockout tagout with 2 groups.
Nice.
How do you go through this? And they love it, and they're like, wow, this is something we do real world. But it's also something that they learn. And it was well received. So
that's awesome.
Those are the things that we like doing, and being back in here, I love training. Even when I worked in the field service, I trained the engineers that were there with me, and just continue. So relays, I don't get to test relays much anymore. But I love what I do.
You can tell the stories.
Oh,
absolutely.
A lot of stories.
So what are we showing here in the booth?
So today, during the booth, what we're using is our new VR Oculus headset. So in this one, we use like QEW, Qualified Electrical Worker, processes to ensure that, hey, with the VR headset, we're in a safe environment, but it's all virtual reality.
Right.
So as we use the knobs, we can actually use our hand controls, to set up the meter, do live dead live on available things, look at the back of the equipment, use the same processes. We can pick up a ground set, hang it on a bus. But the other part too, integrated with that is, it'll ask us, so what does the arc flash rating equal for this piece of equipment? What is the voltage rating of the gloves? What class do you need?
Really?
So at the same time, you're also evaluating them. Do they know what they're looking at?
Yeah.
Are they, when they set up the boundaries, are they within the limited approach? And if the arc flash is within or without, are they setting the boundaries in there? All through virtual reality.
Wow.
And it's fully interactive.
Yeah.
Where you actually can go up and operate a control switch to do your voltage verification.
Yeah.
Racking a breaker, rack out of a breaker, doing it properly. So the VR is very interactive, and it also is just like about the real thing.
Sure, yeah. And now I've had this discussion with a lot of people who train electrical workers, and they love the virtual reality, right? But they'll say, and I know I'm in that camp. It can't completely replace the hands-on. You need that hands-on, but it is really good to have some virtual, and then reinforce it.
Correct.
With the hands-on, because we're using more senses.
You bring back muscle memory.
Yes.
So when you're working in there, it makes you think.
Yeah.
Now the interactive portion is sort of great because it even actually pulls down a JSA. Are you completing the JSA materials?
Yeah.
And now with Eaton equipment, we can actually go in there and say, well, we need that equipment. It pulls down the manuals for some specific equipment.
Nice.
So it's really great. When I first came back, I was working with our team for beta testing, and it was just amazing being able to go through that. I mean, everything from low voltage to transformers, medium voltage switches, straight away. It's perfect.
That's absolutely awesome.
It's great, and I can't wait to see where else it goes to it.
Oh,
so
my
testing
gosh.
and everything like that. Oh yeah.
You know, I had this vision. I said, eventually,
eventually,
what's going to happen is I'm going to get up in the morning, and there's going to be my office. You're going to have a room in your house that's going to have nothing but sensors all over the place. It's going to be what was it on not Star Trek? It was where the holodeck.
Oh, Star Trek.
Remember? Yeah. So you would go to the holodeck, and you would go in there, and that was like futuristic. But you would go in, and then I could sit down, and I could see you. I could see whatever it is around me, as if I was in that environment.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Could you imagine being able to say, I'm going to walk into this room, and I feel like I am in a facility, and I have my pump motors over here, and I've got my switch gear right here, and it's as if I'm right there.
It gives you the situational awareness of your location environment. Now, the one thing about the Oculus, though, some folks get vertigo because the Oculus is only designed for certain eye lift and stuff like that. So, but we also make it in an iPad version. So if the training group, if the group of trainees want to get in there, and they don't want to use the Oculus because too many people, it's old technology, or for them it's new technology. We do it with an iPad version, so you can still do the same thing. You're not going to get possibly dizzy. You know, but that's the new technology now. Oculus is just a phenomenal platform.
I'm another firm believer in when it comes to training of layered and use all your senses. So if you could do some, and I'll give you an example. I shoot sporting plays and I shoot trap. Okay.
We need a call.
So when I lived in Florida. I was second in the state for singles in trap. And what I used to do is just imagine myself on the range.
Right.
You know, and I would walk through the steps in my mind, and then when I actually would go practice, you're thinking about it, and I do that now with guitar. When I think about riffs and whatnot, about playing a guitar, I think about where their fingers are and how you're going up the neck and whatnot, and it helps in the whole process of learning.
It settles your mind. One, as you're going through the numbers, as you're processing it through. And this helps reinforce that. Am I going through the numbers? Am I going through the JSAs? Am I looking at my boundaries?
Exactly.
Looking at the arc flash? Do I have the proper PPE?
Yeah.
So this whole layout is great for giving it to our trainees.
Yeah.
And as the platform is where we can ship it to locations at customer sites.
That's perfect.
And it just gives us that close interaction with our customers and lets us expand that knowledge.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
I'm looking for the next
You've
step.
got the dream job, man.
No, you got the dream job.
I don't have a dream job. No way, but man, I tell you what. Well, I do. I enjoy what I do.
There you
That's
go.
for sure.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie about that. I really enjoy it. I love working at Eaton. I tell you what.
Oh, me too.
Eaton has. Every company has those individuals that you just stay away from. You're never gonna avoid that. But Eaton has a fundamental foundation around ethics. And all of that, everything stemming from that is just it's just phenomenal.
In the years when I started with Eaton, everything, the foundation was all about safety.
Yeah.
Always getting that individual home to their families.
Yeah.
However that is.
Oh, absolutely.
And when I left Eaton, it was, I left Eaton to pursue better things, bigger and better things. But then when I realized, you know what, I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Coming back here, I was welcomed with open arms. So Eaton is a great organization to work for.
It's a journey.
Oh yeah.
And
it's an experience too.
And an experience too. Absolutely.
Can't beat the experience.
Absolutely right. So you enjoying the program? You enjoying the interaction in the booth?
This is really good. Meeting all the new individuals with Eaton, because I've been out of touch out of the field, but being the application engineers, looking at the new products that we have out there, it's just phenomenal.
You know what I just learned?
What's that?
I just learned it today that we have a Magnum breaker that with the door closed, I can rack it out and rack it back in again.
There you
It's
go.
all built into the breaker now. I did not know that.
And for low voltage, because years ago we did that product line for VCBWs, our medium voltage.
Yeah.
Which is great. But now seeing in the low voltage assemblies,
right,
it's just phenomenal. And that opens up new doors for arc flash and equipment awareness, safety.
Absolutely.
So you take the person out of the line of fire, and they can do all of that interaction. And it keeps it all together, makes it so much simpler.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I tell people all the time when they ask me, like, what are electrical manufacturers doing from a safety perspective? And my perspective was, we're doing more with the doors closed.
Oh yeah.
And from our exotherm partners being able to give us temperature monitoring, our breaker guys and gals who are giving us health of the breaker, and now we got a Magnum breaker that can rack in and out. And I can have arc resistant equipment that doesn't have to vent outside.
Oh, I hated the plenums because it had to penetrate the walls. You had to put the outside exterior.
Yeah.
Talking to Emily with the product app, it was like the coolest thing. Do that inside of the same room, still keep maintaining the 18-inch clearance. You're not worried about all that external additional materials.
It's
phenomenal.
It's absolutely insane.
I mean, we're moving and changing the needle, always for the positive, and looking out for safety at the bottom line.
And codes and standards is right there with following us through. What I wish we had a little bit more in the installation requirements. I know people say, "Oh, you're a manufacturer, you just want to sell a product." I think we have to. Safety, unfortunately, I mean, you think just safety, just seatbelts in cars. It took a law to make people start to click it, right?
Oh yes.
And I think if somehow we've got to get people either electively installing these safety products, or we need some influence and traction in codes and standards.
In the products that we have right here nowadays. Every time I talk to customers, even with our training applications, we always talk about, hey, this is what Eaton has, the one-off, to help improve your safety.
Absolutely.
I always talk about power factor correction units. I always talk about arc resistant gear. I always talk about the PXR upgrade for the PXRs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's phenomenal software that we have for this, user-friendly.
Absolutely.
It's not where you got to carry extra stuff, but it's at the end of the day, it's keeping the product online, keeping the personnel safe, and keeping that longevity. Always.
Absolutely,
brother. So it's a great place.
Ray,
Tom,
thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
It.
And again, being my first IEEEs, it's phenomenal.
And we're coming back next year.
Coming back next year.
Same bad channel, same bad time.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Be good. OMG. We got another victim. We have a Patrick.
Yeah.
How are you? Good to see you. How's life treating you?
Good. Good. Busy.
So, I believe. Well, first of all, I don't think anybody out there knows Patrick. How do you say it?
Hecht.
Hecht. Okay. What origin?
German.
German. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everybody out there who Patrick is?
So I'm the product line manager for safety switches. So I have the entire NEMA switch line, along with our rotary disconnects.
Okay.
And our FTP switches. So our fusible distribution panel board switches.
Right.
That we make. So I have the responsibility for that full product line.
Wow. So you have. Wow. That's a lot. So. Why do I have you next to enclosed NRX?
Yeah.
So you're bringing it all together.
Yeah. So I also own the enclosed circuit breaker platform.
Right.
So the enclosed NRX is an expansion of that for us. And the enclosed breaker is for most of what you see in the market. It's you buy a box, you buy a breaker, you put it together in the field.
Right.
So what we look at from a product line standpoint is what are the options that we can provide that are better solutions for the customer, whether it's factory installed with ARMS.
Right.
So we do an ARMS enabled ECB.
Yeah.
Now you have a factory installed with control power, ARM switch, light, and you have positive indication that you're on board.
Okay. So now for everybody out there, the NRX is sort of a it's that step between a multi-case circuit breaker and then in the power breaker.
Yep.
So it's that sweet spot that we call, and it's a marketing term, and it just irritates the bejeebers out of me, but it's an insulated case circuit breaker.
Correct. Yeah, it's a UL 480. It's still a UL 489 breaker, so it is not a short time rated device.
Yep. Well, thank you, sir. Why don't you tell everybody out there, we're live right now. Why don't you don't trip? We're live on YouTube. Yeah, absolutely.
Good presentation.
Thank you, Ray. I really appreciate it.
Always doing good presentation.
I thank you very much, sir. I love it. This is Ray Crow. You gotta say hi. We got the camera.
Patrick. Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So just gotta move over a little bit, and we'll get you on camera right here. Just a smidgen over. Say hi to everybody.
Hi there. How you doing?
You're live on YouTube right now.
You told me you had. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I love it.
They told me you had the camera with
Yeah.
you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing about Ray Crow. Ray has been involved with the Electrical Safety Workshop since its inception.
Yep.
Since its inception. And you've been driving electrical safety, making things happen, and driving standards. Oh, absolutely right.
Yep.
Absolutely right. And he's been a great
glad
mentor.
You're on the board now.
Yes.
Good.
I've been put on the board of IES. Thank you. I was looking for your mentorship because I'll need help in navigating those waters.
My 2 years were up, so Keith took my place.
happened? Because I was on that. Oh, well, that's okay. All right, so the NRX. So, yeah, we're gonna back up about a minute. What? 5. Oh, on Pat's. I thought you said battery. I was like, it's not my battery. All right, so enclosed NRX. Where would I use it?
So there's a number of different use cases. So from a safety perspective, a lot of times if you're in front of a enclosed breaker, you're operating that device right in front of you, right?
Right.
So what the enclosed NRX, at being a UL49 insulated case breaker, it's electrically operated. You have the ability to now move your control for that breaker outside of the boundary. And now we also include the same option for the remote pendant that we have in LVA and MVA. So if you needed to do local control and you didn't want to wire it out to a remote device, now you can plug in the pendant, you can step 25 feet away, and you can operate the device outside the boundary.
Gotcha.
And it becomes a more cost-effective solution in a situation where you don't have room to pour a pad, you don't have room to put a switchboard section in.
Right,
And you can just mount it on the wall. Everything's pre-powered.
How many amps?
Up to 1,000 amps.
Up to 1,000. lose it. We were having technical difficulties. So the enclosed NRX on the I can use it on the secondary of a transformer before I supply power to something else, and that can provide arc reduction maintenance switch on all of it. So is there any NRX that does not have an arc reduction maintenance system on it?
They're no longer. All of the NRX NF, they've made the adjustment to where they're all going to have that.
Okay. All right. So we got NRX. We have enclosed NRX. We can use it wherever we want to use it. I can put it. How big is it though?
How big is the enclosure?
Yeah.
It's about 36 wide by about 60 tall.
Okay, so about 3 foot by 5 foot. All right, so 3 foot by 5 foot. So that's the only other challenge is to have space for it. Right.
Yeah. So anywhere you're going to have a typical distribution panel board, it's going to be at that size or likely smaller than that.
And I can put an arc reduction technology on there, so even though it's a insulated case circuit breaker, which is designed to hold those contacts closed for 30 cycles at a higher instantaneous pickup. I can have an arc reduction technology on there so that if I turn that on downstream, if I'm doing justified energized work, I'm good to go. So you would use it on. So I'm trying to think of where I guess if I'm doing selective coordination, you would need a delay. Motors, a lot of motors starting. You would need intentional delays. Because at 1,000 amps and below, right?
1,000 amps. It is a 100% rated device, so it's 1,000 amps. 100%
oh, it's 100% rated.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
So that gives you fully rated at up to 1,000 amps. In an enclosure.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, but it's still 75 degrees C.
Still 75 degrees C. Yes.
All right, so I can put that anywhere I want, up to 1,000 amps. And it gives me my intentional delays to ride through motor inrush, transformer inrushes, things like that. Helps me with selective coordination. And I'm trying to think of all other applications I could possibly have for it.
The remote, and then the wall-mounted remote control really gives you, it opens up a lot of doors. So you've got the lockout tagout piece, which is an obvious piece, where you can get out of the boundary to do it. Then when you look at some of the other, as we look at energy transition, and you need, a distributed energy resource management solution, if you need to load shed, if you need to do some remote control in different places, it gives you the hardware.
That's perfect.
To be, we look at it as a microgrid. If you're looking at microgrids, it's microgrid ready. It's not going to give you the solution, but it's a piece of the puzzle that you can put on.
Right. Well, I like it. So enclosed NRX, and you're just showing the enclosed NRX over here. This is a brand new product.
Brand new product. So just released for sale in December. And we'll have we've fully launched it, and it's in all of our configuration software and ready to go.
Perfect. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. What else we got going on?
It's still considered, still looking for opportunities to be, from a product line standpoint, we pride ourselves on finding the safer switching solution. So we have, whether it's the ARMS, the Power Expert ECB with ARMS, whether it's the enclosed NRX, whether it's, we have other things from an OEM line isolation to help control panel builders provide a more safe solution to isolate themselves from control.
Are you building in exotherm?
We're working on it. So that's the big question, right? As we look at the landscape, the safety switch is pretty small. We don't have a lot of the control capabilities that most other assemblies may have. So it's how can we integrate continuous thermal monitoring? How do we integrate that IR scanning or continuous thermal monitoring solution so that if somebody is dealing with these switches, they're typically in the harsher portions of your plant. How do we provide a solution that they can meet the requirements of 70B? For monitoring.
Well, you know what I really like is you take, if you have that enclosed circuit breaker, the energy in that enclosure could be high because of what's upstream. Like say it's the first on the secondary of a transformer, right? The energy could be high, but the likelihood of having to get in that equipment is much less than if you're in a piece of equipment that has a bunch of feeder breakers and branch circuit breakers, right? So you've moved the energy into an enclosure that has less likelihood of having somebody working on an exposed nature, and you have the lower energy, and where you have the higher likelihood of where you're going to have justified energized work and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Being able to isolate that line side hazard is huge.
Love it. Beautiful.
Yep.
Well, we had a little technical difficulties, but we got through it.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Be good. All right, we're back in the saddle with the. I guess it was the battery or whatever. We're good. All right, we got the thumbs up. Hey, Greg, how are you?
Good.
Staying out of trouble?
Trying to.
Booth is busy, isn't it?
It is. It's very busy. A lot of interested people today.
A lot of interesting people.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah,
yes. So, I don't know. Have we met before?
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. Why don't you tell me who you are?
So I'm Greg Corsi. I'm the district sales manager for the GEIS group in the Southeast. So I live here in Florida.
Okay, GEIS is our hazardous location stuff, right?
Kind of, sort of. So hazardous location, commercial, construction, stuff like that. So.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're right out of here in Florida.
Out of Orlando. Yep.
Out of Orlando. Okay. Awesome. And you said sales. You're
district sales manager.
District salesman, DSM.
Yes, sir.
District sales manager.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I've got Florida, Georgia, and Alabama is what I cover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
man, that's a good territory.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good territory.
And you cover. So tell me some of the product mixtures. What are like some of the key products that you work with?
So I mean, the key products that we work with on our side. I mean, we're showing lighting here today, connected lighting.
Haslock. Okay.
Yep. So it's a Class 1 Division 2 light fixture, LED fixture that has the capability to use bright layer. So it's kind of cool. We've got an app that you can use to basically dim the lights, do daylight harvesting, group the lights together, occupancy sensing, all kinds of stuff like that. So we're the first one out with the hazardous location fixture that can do that.
Wow. Yeah. So you're integrating it with bright layer, which means it communicates to some nature.
Correct.
What all does it?
So we have an app. It's the Bright Layer Industrial app that we use.
Yeah.
And we basically connect to the fixture that way through Bluetooth.
Okay.
And then you're able to talk to the fixtures and turn them on and off.
Turn them on and off. Can you change the like I have this light here. That it's an amber, right? And I can go on an app and I can change the intensity.
Yep.
I can change the color too.
So we can't change the color, but we can change the intensity, the dimness of the light. Whether
there wouldn't be a reason to change the color. I would think.
Not necessarily. Where we go, it's typically going to be a 5,000 Kelvin temperature blue, white light, or we'll go with more of a warm light.
Boy, you said Kelvin, 5,000 Kelvin, so I was just trying to do white balance on these cameras, and it's all in Kelvin, right?
Oh, yeah.
That good buddy Kelvin.
Fun times.
Yep. Excellent. So how long have you been with Eaton?
So I've been with Eaton for going on 15 years.
God bless you.
So it's been a while. I was part of the old Cooper company when we were acquired.
Oh, that's right.
So the Kraus Heinz business and now the Beeline business as well is part of our group.
How long ago did the acquisition?
It was probably about 11 years or so.
About 11 years or so?
Something like that.
Wow.
So
I remember when that happened.
Yeah. So
it was a great time.
It's been interesting. It's been fun. It's been really good for us to connect with the NAS group and kind of get to know, because they're a lot of times they know about projects before we do on the gear side. So it helps to be connected with that team.
And NAS is our North American sales team, which we have offices all over the United States. And so you're in Florida. So you probably sell a lot of lights. I mean, Texas is probably big, and all of those areas where you have a lot of oil and petrochem facilities.
For sure.
Which is popping up. They're popping up everywhere.
They are. I mean, that's the main focus for the hazardous area for us. But I mean, in Florida, we also have the Space Center. We do a lot with NASA, SpaceX, Blue Origin, all those.
Do we have a light on the moon, on Mars?
I don't know if we have one on Mars. We do have them on the actual launch pads, though.
Oh, really?
Where the actual rockets.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. So, do you get involved with airport? What do they call it? Landing strip lighting.
So, airport lighting is part of the Kraus Heinz division as well.
Yeah.
I'm not really involved as much on that, but we do have that as well. we're upgrading everything to LED in that aspect of the world too. So everything is kind of moving that way.
Yeah. So the challenges with LED is, I would imagine it's heat. And
yeah. I mean, the nice thing about our fixtures on the Kraus-Heinz side is we build them to go into hot environments. So we have the really heavy duty heat sinks and things like that.
Yeah.
So our fixtures are capable of going into those high temperature areas. So
cool.
it's kind of nice.
And now you have the Bluetooth capability. You have the integration with Bright Layer. There's got to be a Geist module in there of some sort for lighting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we have our own little suite that we work through.
Yeah.
So I can turn that one that we have sampling right now today on and off and dim it and do all this kind of stuff just from my phone. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah,
Be able to. And like you say, you get out of that area.
Correct.
And so my strategy, when people ask me about hazardous locations and even like caustic locations, like we'll get into areas where you have like swimming pool areas where you have chlorine in the air and stuff like that.
Sure.
My modus operandi is don't put as much in that area. Put as little as you need in that area. Keep the essential stuff, if you can, outside, and then what you need to have in that area, make sure it's in there. Make sure you're buying Eaton or Kraus-Heinz products, and then I like the aspect of being able to control the lighting and whatnot remotely. Because I know we have those explosion-proof. I just think it's funny because you have a little light switch inside of a explosion-proof, big, heavy-duty box that you can turn things on and off. And we came out with a. I love saying we. We came out with the new product to not have to have all those bolts.
Correct. We have the boltless enclosure. So it's our EBMX boltless enclosure. So it's pretty cool. So it kind of takes the guesswork out of it. Now instead of having to make sure that you got all 40 bolts tightened, you really just have 4 of them that you have to tighten now. So it's definitely some innovative things based around safety, making sure that the enclosure is fully closed and locked in. But we have some really cool, innovative stuff that we've come out with.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. And also we just released, or it's going to be released with NECA, National Electrical Contractors Association. They have an NEIS standard. It's the National Electrical Installation Standards. Okay. And Bob Potter worked on creating that. And I tell you what, if Bob's watching this, Bob Potter is, hazardous locations to me was one of those, you dance around the subject and you hope nobody asks a question. Right. So I had him do a presentation at an IEEE West Virginia chapter meeting. Okay. And I was at first I'm in the audience, I've got my computer, and then he started. And he was going, and he was bringing in codes, and he was bringing in international standards, and he was explaining in the most fundamental way what hazardous locations was. And to me, I closed my monitor, and I was so focused on him. So he wrote an NEIS standard with NECA on hazardous locations to help and what the NEIS does is it fulfills where the code says it has to be done in a workmanship-like manner. Right. The NEIS document tells you how to do what is a workmanship-like manner. Okay. So he put together an awesome book that we're going to turn into a curriculum for IEEE in the future. So, and he's excited about working on that. But
Bob's one of the best.
He is absolutely one of the best. And I think McFarland retired. He retired not too long ago. But that is just so important to give back. Sort of like what you're doing here when you sit in the booth and you talk about products and you talk about solutions and you're answering questions. That's just that's like critical. It's just a critical piece of the puzzle.
Well, it's interesting to really see what everybody does. That's the fun part about this job is to get out there and visit the sites, walk through the sites, and actually see the product installed. Right. And see how we really are helping helping our customers.
Absolutely.
So that's the fun part about this job for sure.
And get good feedback.
Good feedback.
We just had Ray Crow. Ray Croker just walked right through. He just came over and he was just talking away, and he's been a mentor of mine. There are a lot of people in this meeting here that has been a mentor of mine in my career. And I tell you, building the relationships at these meetings is critical.
Yeah, for sure.
Take advantage of that as best you can. And now they need to take advantage of you to say, look, you know, when you have Greg, how do you say it, Corsi?
Corsi.
Oh, look at that. So when you have a guy like yourself who's in this business and you're dealing with customers on a daily basis, you know, a question on hazardous locations or lighting or any or whatever the product is, if you don't know, I always say this, if I don't know the answer, I'm only as close or as smart as the individuals in my Rolodex. Because you just make the connections.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and then you'll be calling Bob Potter, and I'll be calling Bob Potter.
Exactly.
And now they're going to be calling Bob Potter. But I love it. So how long did you say? How long you were have been with Eaton? You said
15 years.
15 years. That's right. And electrical, mechanical.
So been with the Kraus Heinz business the whole time.
Okay.
So
what kind of engineering degree? What's
so
your
I
degree?
actually don't have an engineering degree.
Oh,
just
cool.
have a sales management degree.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So kind of started my career in distribution and learned the distribution model, and then came into manufacturing. So I'm actually a third generation Kraus Heinz employee. My grandfather worked in Syracuse at the plant. My dad retired from Eaton about, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So third generation, kind of keeping it in the family.
Yeah, and you know it's important. It's important from a career perspective because a lot of people think, I have to have an electrical engineering degree, or I have to have a mechanical engineering degree. They don't realize. I mean, we need a lot of people who work with their hands. Right. We need a lot of business-oriented people, marketing-oriented people. And there's a place for everybody, and especially at Eaton, it's such a large organization.
No, absolutely, and I think it's just just learning as you go. Really, I mean, like you said, reaching out to the people like the Bob Potters of the world, and really that's where you learn from the experience of it, and that's what becomes you kind of somebody who knows what they're talking about. So.
And that builds a relationship. When I first started at Eaton, I came from a power systems engineering background. I was working for a consulting firm, and I was on the 800 number, Advanced Product Support Center.
Right.
I didn't know the products. I knew, power systems analysis and design.
Sure.
So I got on the calls and I would get the headset, and our goal, there was 4 of us in a bullpen, and the goal was, when can Tom answer a question on his own, right? Because I was always, hold on, and I would go, Bob Congdon or Clay Zarobsky. I would ask everybody around me, he's wanting to know this or she needs to know that, and what I would typically do if it was going to take a while, I would tell that person, I'm going to call you back, and I got a reputation of, they knew that if they got me, and they had no hopes of me answering a question, they had no hopes of that happening, but they knew that I was going to get back to them.
Sure.
And I gained I built so many relationships with individuals. The one gentleman put me on his family Facebook, or it wasn't Facebook. It was a different app back then. It was just in the late '90s, or mid '90s. And he put me on his family distribution list, and it was just phenomenal because you build relationships. It's not about. And somebody made the mention of this. It's not about what you know; it's who you know, and your commitment to get the answers.
No, I mean we have we're obviously a lot of new salespeople, a lot of people new coming into the business, and one of the main things I tell my new sales guys is you got to get out there, you got to ask questions. You're not going to know everything,
sure,
but the questions you get asked when you go find the answer, now you know. So you just keep building your knowledge base, and that's really how it's done. So
absolutely.
So we've been fortunate to have a lot of good new employees come into the business, and they're sponges. They just take in as much as they can, and within 2 to 3 years, they're experts.
I always tell people, be a sponge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that you threw that in because that's exactly how I think.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for being here at the Electrical Safety Workshop.
Appreciate it.
Sure thing, brother.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Take care of Florida for me. Dr. Lee. Bright layer part 2. All right. I have a special. You want to go live? Want to talk? Oh, Doc. Oh man, I tell you what. Oh, and we have to talk, so we'll connect. Thank you, Doc. That gentleman right there was Dr. Lee, who conducts most of the arc flash studies. And oh my gosh, we were this close, man. I'm just telling these people. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good.
And you helped me out earlier. You're like, hey, I'll get the power for you. So why don't you, so you're Bright Layer?
Yes, I'm an application engineer.
Oh, that's right, you're an
Bright Layer,
application engineer. We're going to see each other in Atlanta, Georgia soon.
Correct.
Why don't you tell people who you are?
My name is Yuki Yunus, and I'm a digital application engineer for Eaton. I cover the Southeast territory and the West.
Okay.
Mostly on industrial applications where software is required.
All right, so application engineering is, we say it in our company all the time, it's the best job in the company.
It is.
You get to work with customers, you build the relationships, and then you provide feedback back to the product lines.
Correct.
And shape the future of all of our solutions in the field.
Yes.
So, what are you doing here at the Electrical Safety Workshop?
Helping out a little bit with the Bright Layer components, and also trying to gather voice of customer.
Ah, okay, yeah. A lot of opportunity to get voice of customer, absolutely. So what's the biggest, what are we showing off in Bright Layer? Why don't you bring us up to speed?
So we're showing off 3 of the softwares that we offer. The first one is RIM, or Remote Industrial Monitoring.
Okay.
That one is cellular-based and cloud-based solution. It's more for like simple applications when you have maybe one lineup, maybe a switchboard, or maybe an MCC that you have in a remote pump station, and you don't want to have to run, fiber optics or Cat 5 all the way out there. So
Yeah. All right, so we have, and I was explained to me earlier that our software operates in modules, so to speak. So you can purchase and you can assemble your experience how you want it to fit the needs that you have.
Correct. So from there, then we will jump into APM or Foreseer. Either one of those options, those are on-premise software solutions. So either the customer has the servers that they want us to install the software, or we can provide the server as well.
Awesome.
For those solutions.
Awesome.
And those will be communicating within their own network. Doesn't go outside.
Right. Well, I tell you, that's a world of, when you get into the world of communications and human-machine interfacing and custom designs and trying to fit the needs of everybody who's going to use it, that's got to be challenging.
It is a challenge, but it's something that we can help with.
Oh, absolutely. When we've got rock stars like you involved, So you have what area do you focus on again?
The Southeast.
Southeast. So Florida, all the way up through Alabama?
Yes.
Georgia?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Carolinas?
Yeah, Carolinas and the Tennessee as well.
Tennessee. My wife and I want to move to Nashville, Tennessee. That's where Chris Finnan's from. I told Chris, beware, I might come to town. Yeah, you have a good district, good area. That's good.
Yes.
That's good. So you enjoy being an application engineer?
I love it. I've been on the road for about 4 years now.
4 years?
Yeah, and I get to do a little bit different stuff than Alejandro and the solution architects do. That you interviewed Alejandro earlier. Because I also work directly with the product lines, as you mentioned. I'm also a linked AE for all of the products in Greenwood.
Yep.
So I work hand in hand with Stephanie Dean and Quinlan and Garrett Sims also on some of the stuff that they're doing.
Sure.
On the medium voltage products on the digital side.
Yeah. So now on medium voltage, we have new listing requirements that are coming in 2026 for the National Electrical Code. They're going to require, and we're going to go over this in Atlanta, they're going to require medium voltage assemblies to be listed, medium voltage breakers, medium voltage fuses to be listed to UL standards, to UL standards, or standards that are available for medium voltage equipment. And I think a lot of those, they use some IEEE documents too for that, which is where we're at. We're at IEEE. So that's going to be an important part. So you get involved with a lot of stuff.
I do a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and so from an application engineering perspective, customers can leverage you to help them lay out their vision and pick the right parts and pieces and making sure they all go together.
Correct. That's where the main difference between the solution architects and the AEs in my group is basically we're also gear experts on our end, so we can help them pick the right devices that will communicate and to get the end goal that they're trying to achieve.
You know, and it's so critical to have an individual such as yourself, because I'll liken it, and I hate the word, but I'll liken it to silos. You have people, which is a true statement, in fact, in the fact that you have an individual who knows this very well, and you have another individual who knows that very well. But what your role is in our organization is to bring all of that together and say, okay, I know you have a breaker and you have a breaker, but you can't fit those breakers in every single panel board and switchboard. You can put this one in here and it could be in this spot. So your challenge is, which I think makes it the best job at Eaton, is that you have to have the knowledge, you have to have a breadth, you have to have the width of knowledge, and a little less shallow. You can be deep on some areas, but you can be shallow across the entire product line to be able to recognize when you need to pull the right experts in to bring the job together. And we have how many application engineers across the country? They've grown. Originally, they called them the Dirty Dozen. It's 12. We had 12 application engineers, Bob Guston, Chuck Knockhamson, and the whole crew. And I can remember teaching them when I was in the product management. But the interaction between the application engineer and product management and product line management is so critical for our organization, and I think critical for our customers, because we bring solutions that address the needs of the customers because of individuals like yourself, right? So what are you specifically showing something off?
Some instances that we have installed in one of our facilities and the Experience Center as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, are we connected to the Experience Center?
Yes.
That's probably the guy who's been pulling out our bandwidth. Man. Yeah. 2 minutes. Oh, it's 6 o'clock already. Jeez, oh man. So you've been with the company for
9 years.
9 years.
A little over 9 years.
A little over 9 years. You're in the sweet spot of applications. You're working with all of our bright layer products and solutions, integrating with all of our assemblies. You like the show? Is this your first ESW?
It's my first one.
You're going to come back?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
You better come back. And forget about where we're going to be. I mean, we're going to be at, do you have Texas?
No, I don't cover Texas.
Well, you're going to go to Texas next year. Hopefully we will see you there, and maybe another application engineer too. But the Electrical Safety Workshop, are you sitting in the programs? Excellent. What's a key takeaway? Do you have any key takeaways? Anything spark your interest?
Yeah, to me it was great that everybody was focused on one presentation. Okay. I felt like that was really interesting.
Yeah,
I wish there would have been more time for the questions though, because I noticed that it was didn't give enough time for.
Yeah, I gave some extra time on mine, and we got a comment. We didn't get a question, but yeah. So it is nice that we have everybody in the same room watching a presenter, and there's a lot of people in there.
Yes,
it's a really good event. Well, thanks for stopping over to the booth, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks for what you do, and thanks for being here to work with customers.
Yeah. Thanks.
Take
Have
care.
a good one.
You too. Awesome. All right. We're still live?
Close up? Yeah.
Man,
it's a heck of a show.
Man, I'll tell you, we had some technical difficulties. We had some downs, we had our ups, we cried, we laughed. We had Ray just walk right on in.
Ray, God bless him. That's so good.
Absolutely. And it was such a good opportunity. Couldn't get Dr. Lee on
I was bummed about that. That was celebrity that we missed a chance for.
I mean, if everybody would have been able to talk to him and on Arc Flash and all the testing he's doing and continues to do, this is a great event.
It is great, and yes.
And I thank you for setting all of this up and being here, and you know, we're only getting better every time, and we learn every time.
Just part of the gig why we're here. Period. We're learning.
Absolutely.
Whether it's about safety or how to produce a show.
Absolutely right.
But Tom, I do appreciate it. You do a great job. I know it's a long gig for anybody to talk for 3 hours, even if it's interesting topics, lots of people. That's still it's taxing a little bit. So
It's
thank
fun.
you for doing that. But that's
Thank you.
cool.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
It's a good opportunity. So a lot of people from the booth.
Great show. Again, it's just the show gets bigger and better every year. The topics stay fresh. The people are engaged. It's great. That's why we're still here. We get bigger every year too. So love it.
I'm loving it too. It's awesome. So we had good people. We had good topics. We didn't get Peter Bain in here, but that's okay. And we had thanks for joining in and thanks for watching. We've got the footage, so we've recorded everything, and we'll be able to produce this and put it back out there for everybody to see all the great little moments that we've had.
I love it. Sounds good.
We didn't get. We were supposed to have a few of our partners come over, and their booth was. I told them. They said, "Oh, we want to stop over," and I said, "You know what? You can do that, but this is 3 hours of being pummeled." I mean, it's like being on a. You know what I liken it to? This would be like. Riding a bull. What do you got? 2 seconds, 2.7 seconds on a bull. You know, and it's the wildest ride that you had. This is the toughest 3 hours in trade show history.
It might be, yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Put that on your resume.
Yeah. I'll put it on my resume.
Love it.
Well, I'm gonna go back, and I wish I could have seen some of the comments and been able to dialogue, but I wasn't able to. My computer's over there. We got to figure out a way to make.
Yeah,
that
we were talking through that exactly right. We love the engagement, and just the way we're set up. That's another cycle of improvement of how do we include that engagement, because it's so great to people join in, and they probably some great things. I saw they have some great things to add, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of great things, a lot of good comments, and then I'm not sure why my camera went out, and this one over here was battery issues, so I knew that one. That one it was plugged in, so I'm going to investigate. All right, Mike Elliott, we got it done.
Tom Dimitrovich, thanks for hosting. Great job as always.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody out there, and stay safe and all that jazz.
Yep. Do you have a big closing you normally say in your broadcast? I know you do. So
I do. I say, okay, thanks for what you do for the electrical industry. Thanks for what you do for the electrical industry. Thanks for what you do for electrical safety. Remember to stay safe, and please stay healthy.
Okay.
All right.
That's a take. That's a cut.
Me done.
Yep.